All right, we're live. Thank you everyone for coming and spending the night with us again. It's great to have you here as always. Tonight we're going to be drawing Magik, which I'm pretty excited about. Actually, I was talking to Eric Grove earlier today, and I couldn't think of what we were going to draw. My microphone's falling off here. Hold on. I need a better stand for this thing. All right, I think we're good. Yeah, I couldn't think of what to draw, and he suggested Magik, and I thought, yeah, that's perfect. I love Magik. And I've actually drawn Magik for some covers and things before, so I had, some Magik art to actually put up, Meredith. So you want to say hi?
Hi. Well, you just rolled along without me, so I'll just sit back here and keep my mouth shut until you need me.
All right. That's what I'm dealing with. All right. Well, while you get started there, Meredith, I'm going to go ahead and start drawing.
Hey, hey, everybody.
Hey everybody, it's Dave and Meredith. It's Meredith and Dave.
And then give me a chance to actually...
It's Meredith presents Meredith and Dave.
You didn't give me a chance to even say hi, and then you're like, Meredith.
I could even do this. It's Meredith.
It's not fair because I don't know what buttons you're pushing.
And Dave. What?
Oh, too long. Whatever you're doing is too long.
I think I should hit the button. Okay. All right. I think...
You really need to get an extension cord for that thing.
I told
you don't have access to it.
I told Meredith that I was going to give her the thing that does that. I think hopefully it worked last week, and I tried when I was setting everything up right now. Of course, I don't even look at anything until we're about to set this up.
We can all see the air quotes there when he says he tried.
I really actually did try because I don't want to have to deal with. Believe it or not, I don't want to have to deal with it. But it's connected by a cord, and the cord was too short. So, yeah. All right, here we go.
Sure. Cord was too short.
Cord was too short. What do you do?
Yeah, nobody believes you. So, it's exciting.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm Dogtail Day.
We just spent the last 2 hours watching, this is a problem. We spent the last 2 hours watching TV. We're watching Family Guy right now, which really good friends of ours watch all the time, and we keep hearing about. And I kept thinking, it's not for me. It's just The Simpsons, whatever. Next thing you know, it's my favorite show.
Like he says, hi, Dave, Meredith, and Patches. Patches is not down here right now, but she might be later.
She might be later, yeah.
Listen there's what we can't control.
Let me just quickly hold on, get the right screen here. I end up drawing off the page so much. I'm really trying.
Zoom it out a little bit.
It's actually zoomed out all the way.
Oh, okay.
I would have to move the camera. There comes a point where, because I've done it, where it's higher, but then the camera falls over toward me, and I need to tape it down, and then that's other problems. And
it's always problems.
You know what it is?
You always have problems.
At some point, I'm going to get this big overhead rig.
Oh my gosh.
With like a camera here. You know what I mean?
I'm exhausted just thinking about it right now. All right, something sketchy. Dave, what would be your least favorite art style to draw?
Wow, that's a good question.
I mean, you always draw in your own style, really.
Yeah, I draw my own style. It's true. Her butt's kind of not really. I need to do a little more form here. I've drawn a few different styles, and it always ends up kind of looking like my art. Okay, Family Guy. That would be a tough style to draw. I could try and make it look like my art and kind of like a mixture, and that would be fun. I did
really simple, like line.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's familiar with PvP. It's a comic by Scott Kurtz, which I'm a huge fan of. I thought it was absolutely great, and I did a cover for it. I was very fortunate to get a chance to do that. Anyway, it was when I was doing Avengers. This is a long time ago, 16 years ago now. And so I did Avengers #1. If any of you remember, they're all in shadow, so they're all dark on the front. And I just did the PvP characters in the same way. And then I think Frank.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Frank colored it the same way as he did the original cover. It was pretty cool. And that was fun. So there you go.
I want to reassure John Comerford that my mic is not taped to the garbage can. It's still lying on the back of the couch. Because
I'm all over the place with my sketch.
Oh my gosh, well,
It's a good thing I'm using a pencil.
So good news, no garbage can struggles today. Sitting nicely on the back of the couch where I put it last week. And Michael Eamon says, he's a super draw. She comes through in a pinch. They are super adorable. David and Meredith Finch.
Wow.
Did he used to like work for the honeymoon show? You know which one I'm talking about? What's that show? The Newlywed Game.
Is this the one where they say, where's the craziest place you ever
made whoopee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. It's a family-friendly show.
Oh my gosh, the Newlywed Game. You know you're old if you can remember that game.
Yeah.
It might have had a... Did they come back? There's a game that could use a reboot.
The Newlywed Game.
The Newlywed Game.
I feel like if this one works out, it's going to be a really nice sketch. If it doesn't, well, it's not. But female sketches for me are always this way. Like, they either really work and I'm really happy with them, or they're total trash. So we will see.
Oh, first super chat. Oh my gosh, it's not good if I'm yawning already. ODM Photography for $9.99. ODM says, thanks for the review of my inks. You and Richard's words are the reason I continue on. P.S. If you need a covering, I'll do it for free. God
Oh,
bless.
well, I would not ask that of you, especially, you know what? It was my pleasure to do. I can be a little reluctant because you never know. And ODM sent his inks by. I got him an email and they were incredible. I mean, really beautiful inks. And so I went through it viciously, truthfully. Like, I found this line's not quite like better than I could do possibly. I can't ink that well. But yeah, I critiqued it as hard as I could because I could. I mean, sometimes you can't, sometimes you just have to be supportive and say, oh, it's coming along and it's looking good.
Oh, geez. If anybody on the stream has heard Dave say that.
No, of course not. We're all pros here. Or we're getting there. Fast. But yes, thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciated it. And, thanks for sending your stuff by. I thought it was really, really great looking inks. I mean, it's just very, there's being clean and then there's really understanding the work that you're doing. And he really did. I was very happy. I thought it looked great.
Tonight we have to say thank you to our moderator extraordinaire, Eric Grove Art. Again, thank you for being here, Eric.
Yeah, and Lifesaver.
Pardon?
I said, and Lifesaver.
Lifesaver, generally. Meredith is always yawning. Michael, I am always yawning because I am up very early.
You're not always yawning. Sometimes you're coughing.
I could not sleep last night. I was awake from like 3 o'clock on. I think it's because it was, I had a cup of decaf tea, and if I have decaf tea, sometimes there's enough caffeine in it that it keeps me awake.
I went to bed at 1:30.
Could be because there was a child in bed with me.
Yeah, that's when I found that out.
Yeah. For the most part, he's fine, but when he's settling in...
Oh, yeah, for you, that's great, but I slept on the couch last night.
It was like getting jiggy with it. Like, that kid was moving all over the place. I'm like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just go to sleep. You don't have to roll around 500 times. And he really, like, I don't know. When
He takes after you. Yeah, you know what? When I roll over, I try and lift up a little bit and then like sneak over because I want to. Yeah, you don't do that. You raise and then drop.
You sleep like a log. You don't even notice it much. I don't notice it much.
Once I'm sleeping, no.
No, that's the thing. You do that because I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Once you wake me up, I'm up all night. You wake up, you're like, huh? And then you go back to sleep. What was that? Bomb just went off. Wake me up when the mushroom cloud arrives. All right. Adam McBride wants to know what kind of paper you use.
This is, let me put it into the shot. This is Strathmore, and it's 200 series. Actually, you get it in a book, I think, of 20 pages. I think that's right. Anyway, it's cheap, and it's really, really good paper to ink on. This is good paper to pencil on. It's not my favorite. My favorite actually is maybe even a little bit rougher. Well, this is really smooth. I like rougher paper to pencil on, but it's awful to ink on rough paper for me anyway. So this is my compromise. This is good paper to pencil on. You can erase it. It won't break apart. I actually like it more than the 400, 500 series, which is a lot more expensive. I don't know what it is. this actually
sometimes more expensive doesn't make it more better.
sometimes, and I got this actually from Matt Banning, who's an incredible inker, the longtime inker, inked me on a lot of stuff, and just a good dude. And he got so frustrated because I was using the DC paper. I shouldn't say this, but DC paper for a while was the worst. There were a couple of years there they were really struggling to find a good paper. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I started using this and I just never went back. I actually, when I went to DC, I was so attached to the Marvel paper. This is in 2010. I wanted to ask Marvel, I wanted to like email them and say, hey, I know I don't work for you guys anymore. Maybe you could like send me paper and I could just pay you for it. And I didn't do that, obviously, but I was very tempted.
All right. So you wants to know, when did Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee split studios? Do you remember?
I do.
Were you there?
And before I answer, if you don't mind, I just want to bring up my reference here quickly.
You're not using your own statue?
It's out of date now. This is the new costume.
That's not a very nice picture.
I just need the costume. I just really, this is all 5 minutes before this whole thing started. It was a mad scramble, and it's the costume.
People don't want the new costume.
You know what? I want to draw the new costume. Besides, I've already kind of committed. I've drawn the sword. All right.
All right. Fair enough. What do I know?
Nothing. That's what.
It's just here for commentary. I'll see. It was nice there. I did say anything. We'll see. Could come up with something.
Yeah, there's like a window if you don't get it in before then.
Like the brain is on, like I got nothing.
All right.
It's shutting down already.
I'm gonna do a little more penciling than I do normally, because again, sometimes these female sketches for me, they just don't work. And I want to try and make this one work.
Hi Dave, it's Maddie. I'm sorry I can't stay because it's 8 o'clock and I have to go to bed soon.
School.
It was my first day at school. I drew a lot because I'm inspired by you. Thank you, and Meredith, you're cool.
Well, thank you so much, Maddie. Thank you for coming at least a little bit before you had to cut out for school.
Have a good day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to everybody who's going back to school this week.
Yeah, we're all back to school here too.
So glad.
Yeah.
So glad that it was the best. My favorite thing of the day today was going into the teenager's room at 10 to 8 and saying, "Get up! You got class in less than half an hour."
He did too, no problems.
He got up, yeah.
I was amazed. I thought it was going to be some kind of war.
It was the best. And then, he got up. The first 2 days of school for him are online. So he went to class in his pajamas, and Mom brought him up breakfast, but it was still awesome that he had to be awake.
Yep.
Someday, he might be up before the sun. Shock and awe.
Well, mostly it just means he's not up till 3 o'clock in the morning streaming.
Goodness.
We finally figured out, it took months. We figured out we could put the fan on in our room and it cuts out enough of the sound that I don't hear him screaming.
Not the ceiling fan. The bathroom exhaust fan.
Yeah, which is kind of loud.
That's loud.
You could actually say that it might even be faulty, but...
Might be. Probably could use some oil after the workout has got this summer.
I think I made her. She looks too old.
That's because the picture that you have makes her look like she's 70.
It's a totally different shot.
Same. We were getting back to the breaking up of the theater. Not the theater. Top Cow.
Oh yes, sorry, right. Okay, so
you have a great attention span. It's just short.
I got to Top Cow and Homage Studios. This was, for those of you that don't know, Homage Studios, and it was part of Top Cow. It was all together. Jim Lee was there, Will Protasio was there, Scott Williams, J. Scott Campbell, Travis Terrest. It was a huge, pool of incredible talent that was there when I got there. I got there in July of 1994, so a couple years ago, and Top Cow was already planning on moving, and it wasn't some kind of they weren't fighting. It wasn't anything like that. They always got along well. I think it's pretty hard to not get along with Mark Silvestri. He's very laid back. He's very supportive. He's just, he's good people, And well, I mean, and so is Jim Lee too. I mean, like they got along great. But
I think missed my super chats already.
Mark wanted to move to LA because he had some interest in a few top cat properties, and he really wanted to pursue that, and LA was a place to do that. So yeah, I moved to California from Canada, and it was San Diego, and I thought, wow, you know, the United States is like the greatest place on the face of the earth. I loved it. And then I ended up moving into LA with all the traffic, and I never got that comfortable in LA, I have to be honest. It was never really for me.
All right, quit digressing. Okay. Got tons of super chats I missed. SCS Powerlifting is a super chat for $5. SCS says, good evening, Finches. Good evening, SCS. What is an easy way for placement when starting to draw a figure?
An easy way for, you know what? Let's do it right here. Okay, so you have two choices. Now I'm going to be coughing. You are supposed to, because your body, your head, your arms, and your legs are limbs that come off of your torso. You're really supposed to start with your chest. So, you know, you got your chest shape like this, and, you know, you got your pelvis. This is terrible, but, you know, and then a leg and your arms and your head. Now, for my part, the way that I always draw when I'm actually drawing, and it's not a tutorial, and I found, actually I did an arm tutorial last week, just about a week and a half ago, and it was a struggle for me because I was trying to draw in a different way, and I ended up, my proportions were a mess because I'm just not used to drawing that way. But you get into habits, and so the way that I always draw is, I did a little reference figure of this figure that I'm doing here just to make sure that I didn't make a disaster of it. And so I would figure the top of my figure is going to be about here, and the bottom's here, and make it small for this, and so I knew my hips are going to be about here, and I'm just kind of placing where I want the figure with a leg here. And really the reason I do this is because, especially if I've got multiple figures and I've already kind of laid it out a little bit, I want to make sure everything, just in a broad sense, fits together. I'm not even drawing the figure so much, it's just, so now I've got her, I'm going to put her head here, and her chest is going to go here, her pelvis is here, and I'm just still roughing in just to get my figure. And I mean, you guys saw me do this a minute ago, really. Like this part is what I was really doing. I didn't, and because it's a single figure, I had room to screw up. I didn't really worry about it too much. And I get really, really rough with it, and I just kind of block in my shapes just to kind of get a sense of where I want everything. The hand's going to be about here. And then when I'm actually really drawing a figure, you'll notice I did it here too. I start with the face, and I do that because if the face isn't working, really nothing's working. So when I actually start going in tight, it's always the face first, which, you know, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I've tried it the other way. And what's happened to me is I'll get the whole body working, and then the head's not working. It just doesn't look right. And I end up drawing the head like 4 or 5 times. Now, this is a long time ago, and you get more comfortable as you go along, you know? Like the amount of times that I've drawn, and when I was starting, and I would have one eye pointing this way and the other pointing just slightly off, and I could not fix it, and I would erase it 10 times and come back to it, and that never seems to happen, I hope. At least I don't see it anyway. But things like that, yeah, you can learn as much as you want to learn, but there is just an experience factor, which, I mean, there's nothing right. Bad about that. Okay.
You're just like,
all right, I'm just talking.
You are. Trenton Massey has a super chat for $5. Trenton wants to know, hey Dave, could you draw Miles Morales with the hoodie? By the way, your art is amazing.
Actually, you know, that would be a blast. And Isaac, yeah. Yeah, okay, so here's my one problem with drawing Miles Morales is I would end up having to give it to my son.
Yeah, is that so bad? His birthday's coming up.
It is too. You know what?
Why do you never draw art for our kids?
You're right. Okay, next week.
Everett's got art, all kinds of art in his bedroom.
I actually really like that idea. Next week, I'm going to draw Miles Morales. I think that'd be a blast.
There you go.
And I mean, I saw that movie in the theater twice.
Loves that movie. Loves it.
Such a great movie.
He watches it over and over again. Artsy Designs, $2 super chat. Hey Dave, can you put this drawing on your Gumroad?
You know, I really should.
Are you doing pencils?
No, I'm doing inks.
What would be the point of putting it on the Gumroad?
I don't know. I guess yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. See what the benefit would be because he's doing inks.
Well, if Artsy Designs can can
give
say,
us a good reason why we should put it on the Gumroad.
then I will do it. Which actually, and I appreciate it because that's a good point for me to mention that up on the Gumroad right now is a bunch of pencils and a bunch of inks. I put up a few covers of pencils. This is stuff from the last 20 years. So I just found some things that I had on my hard drive. It's amazing how little stuff I have down here. Because I wanted to put up good quality, like not sized down. I know you have a lot more. But
I got a hard drive too.
Anyway, I found some things out of what I had, and I put up, I don't know how many, 10 different pictures, something like that. Anyway, a couple of inks, mostly pencils, just to look out for reference, and also for inking if you want ink. And I got a few requests, so it's up there. It's free, so if you want to just swing by. And there's a link to my Gumroad. I think it actually links to a different item in the store, but anyway, that's my Gumroad. You can find it there, download it for free, and hopefully it's useful for you.
So Dave, Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat for $4.99. If your younger self were trying to break in right now post-COVID, what advice would you give him? And also, did I miss the portfolio reviews last week?
No, actually it's this week. So I'll tell you what happened.
You were gone all night. I thought you were downstairs doing portfolio reviews. You disappeared down a rabbit hole.
That is.
Should I be angry?
Yeah, maybe. We never even talked about that. It's not like I was trying to hide. So what happened was, okay.
WTH.
I didn't communicate. I got actually Robert Marzullo emailed, and I didn't write back because I can be bad that way sometimes, and I wasn't thinking about it. And so I called actually on Thursday, and he said, look, I didn't want to promote it if you're not going to be there, and he wasn't sure what was going on. Totally my fault. I apologize. It is actually scheduled for 8 o'clock Thursday this week. 100%. I will be there 8 o'clock Thursday this week. Yeah, we'll be there. Sorry. So yeah, what happened is I went down, I talked to Robert, and we talked for a little bit, and I thought, oh, well. And next thing you know, so I'm trying to work on a website right now.
Oh my God. You did go down a freaking rabbit hole.
And I really spent... I spent most of last week not sleeping, really, like at all, not eating, and just trying to figure out how to make I'm not the smartest person on earth, not known for that kind of thing. And anyway, I've been fighting with the website stuff like crazy. So yeah, I don't think I went to bed till 4 o'clock in the morning that night, actually.
Let's move on to something positive. Like this super chat from BW for $5.
By the way, BW, I just want to say this quickly. Thank you all so much for being here, everyone, because otherwise she would have been a lot worse when she heard that. So I appreciate it.
I'm too tired to care right now. Our fight was yesterday. I'm not going to fight with you again today.
That's true. Yeah, we had a good one yesterday.
Now can I get on to the positive?
Yes.
It's about me.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there.
We can't miss that.
No. And he super chatted it, so. Scooped up the Rose graphic novels, and the preface is so heartfelt. The story itself is just as delightful. Can't wait for your next work. Thank you so much, BW.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Nice. Thank you.
So nice. Made my whole day. And then we have a super chat from Mateo Pachol for $2, but the message got retracted. I'm sorry, Mateo.
Well, hopefully you can send it again. Because
if it got retracted, I'm guessing Eric retracted it. So
or he might have changed it himself. Well, we'll see. We'll find out.
We will. Jordan Seward, super chat for $2.99. Jordan just gave us like a 1-up. Just like a little emote. Like,
oh, man. Well, thank you, Jordan.
I'm not sure. Is it emote the right word? Maybe it's not. It's like a little crocodile.
I think it's an emote.
Hippo doing 1-up.
I watched this video and somebody was saying, because I'm watching all this website stuff, and he says, you can sell swag, and he says, oh wait, nobody calls it that now. Now it's merch. So maybe old. Emote is old too. I don't know.
Next super chat is from Steve Hood for $5. Thank you for your super chat, Steve. Steve says thanks again to you both for another awesome stream. Any thoughts on art/comic creation on phones now that Clip Studio is available for Galaxy phones? Well, that's probably not going to happen here.
Yeah.
You just heard Dave say he dove down a rabbit hole trying to come up with a website last week. So Meredith is going to hardcore lock him down. He's only allowed to do stuff he's already good at. until you cross off every item on the fridge.
Hey, I've been doing all right this
And
week.
I actually made a list for him this week
She
on
did.
the fridge.
And then she said,
It's extensive.
I'm doing this to help you.
I thought it was me being mad at him, but I was trying to be helpful.
No, that is what it was.
Said you wanted a whiteboard.
You
I
just
gave you a white piece of paper.
the way you even described it right now, it's obvious what it was.
It was a helpful list of
Right.
reminders of all the things while you're down here frittering away your time trying to design a website that you could pay somebody else or somebody would volunteer to do for free.
But then I wouldn't know how to run it, and you know what? Anyway.
Moving right along. Our Jedi says it wouldn't be Monday Night Draw without Dave and Meredith banter. That is probably true. That's probably true. Meredith wasn't breaking. I can't even say that because breaking your back.
We are
Busting your back.
very clean here.
Oh dear. Ryan Parfait, super chat for $1.99. Sick. So may not make it to the end. Wanted to support.
Well, thank you, Ryan, and thank you for coming again.
Even though you are sick. Oh no.
Oh, he's sick. Oh,
That's
no.
what he's saying. He's sick. So you may not make it to the end. but
See, this is where I'm old. He said sick, so I thought he meant
well,
like...
I did too, but then I realized it takes me a bit. Leggy says Dave draw Patches the cat on Magik's shoulders.
No.
Maybe one day we'll have a Patches session. Dave draws Patches. Dave's not showing anybody the reference because I already trashed the reference. Since I verbally trashed a reference, you may not show it online. Because who knows who's watching. Maybe that artist is watching. And I don't want to offend somebody.
Well, there you go.
Alright, Indie Comics Cast has a super chat for $4.99. I don't see a question. I don't know why. But
Well,
if
thank you, Indie Comics
Yes,
Cast,
thank
very
you for the
much.
Super chat. If you have a question, then please let us know, Holmes. Greg L has a super chat for $2. Hey guys, so the kids are finally in school, huh? They are so great. It wasn't, I know it's been a challenge for a lot of the teachers and the parents, and we didn't even know what was going on until this morning. But although the person I think most happy to go to school was Hayden.
Yes. Yeah, he sure was. He's been talking about it all summer. It's all he could talk about. So, yeah.
Indie Comics Cast says, Meredith, I would love to work with you on a future show. Hopefully, David, you and Jimmy can do a show to promote his awesome book. Joe Tolliver. That must be Indie Comics Cast is Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, he's
Ig
very
War
nice.
is here. Hey, Ig! If you don't know Ig, then you haven't read Rose
Or been watching the show.
or been watching the show. Ig is the artist extraordinaire from Rose. And right underneath this, Ig saying hi is Esteban Lopez, who says, hey, Meredith, I read the first 2 issues of Rose. I like how dark and hopeful the story is. Is it weird that I like the villain more than the hero? Anyway, I always look forward to reading more. That's not weird at all.
Nope, I always like the villain more. Every time I watch Star Wars, I think, Luke, join the dark side.
You do every time.
They're cooler. Look, come on.
That's so fun that Ig is here. Yay.
Yeah, that's really great.
I think the saddest thing for me is that I have yet to meet Ig in person.
Yeah, because when we started Rose, because we went to Brazil.
We did, but I wasn't doing Rose then.
Yeah,
We were
so,
doing Wonder Woman.
and I'm sure he was probably there, but we just hadn't met.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Someday, Ig, someday.
yeah, well, and oh, you know what, that looks wrong. See, this is why pencil.
That's right, so you can erase.
Still looks wrong. You know what, we'll have it on the one side. I'll just raise the hair up there. Okay, that looks bad too. Oh no.
Do you want me to tell you what's wrong with it?
Nope. Okay, tell me.
I don't know, I can't see from that far away.
I thought you had something.
No.
All right, I need a ruler. So I've got to draw a sword.
There's a whole bunch of stuff there. 3 edges.
Yep. All right. Let's see what we...
Put on the side of your desk. Like
Well,
I told
look at
you
this
to do,
monster ruler.
But then never did. All right.
Okay.
Next super chat is from Neil Durkin for $10. Thank you so much, Neil.
Yes, thank you, Neil.
Neil says, "Hey there, D&M," or if you live here, M&D. Are there any online portfolios you recommend taking a look at as a good example for someone sending artist submissions to publishers? Thanks for being wonderful teachers.
Thank you.
Are there like online portfolios that you can look at? That's news to me. But
That's a really good question, though.
you could put that on your Gumroad.
That is actually a really good question because, yeah, I don't know of one offhand. And, you know, everybody says this is what you should put in and that's what you should put in, but you never see, you know, here's an example of the kind of portfolio that is most likely to actually get you work.
Where's your whiteboard?
I don't have one. I need to get one.
Oh, it's on the fridge.
It's upstairs.
It's upstairs on the fridge.
But yeah, that's a great question.
It is.
I mean, I could run down what I think would be a good type of portfolio. And also bear in mind that it's not a one portfolio fits all kind of a thing too, because it really depends on what a publisher is looking for. And generally speaking, when it comes to a new artist, they are looking for something for a specific book there or a project that they're working on. I mean, bear in mind the editors are, you know, I don't want to say that they're not altruistic people. I'm sure, and look, there's some editors I absolutely love, so yeah, I wouldn't want to say that. But they have a job that they're trying to, you know, fulfill, and so they're looking for somebody that can do that particular job. And if the art doesn't fit that job, then that editor won't hire you, and that's just the way it is. So now, ultimately, if the art's good enough and it's marketable, which is that is such an important thing. It's important to be good. Obviously, it's important to be good, but you also need to be appealing. It's really central. It's actually more important to be appealing than it is to be good. You know, unfortunate, but it's the truth. And I mean, I'm sure all of you could point to, you know, artists that are very successful and are not as good as you know, other artists that you could think of. And they're just successful because people just find it more appealing, you know? And that's just reality.
All right. Next super chat is from...
Yeah, that was right.
I think so. Allison McClone for $1.99. How about the classic costume and sword? I agree with you, Allison.
We're committed. Thank you, though, Allison.
He wanted to try the big sword, I guess. Not my fave. I think we've all heard what I think about the reference, so.
Well, this is actually for someone.
Maybe that someone wants the classic costume.
But I've actually seen her do like a cosplay of this one, you know?
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Yeah, she did it at a convention, and this is the costume that she had. So I figure this is the one.
All right, if that's the costume she cosplayed, then.
Look, this is all I'm thinking, you know? That's what I'm thinking.
If not, then this. If it's the wrong costume, this piece will be available for sale.
There you go. And I'll be doing Magik again next week.
Yeah.
Next week is Mark Morales.
Yes.
Mark Morales is an inker.
Yes. Miles,
and a great guy.
Oh my God.
And a friend of mine. I'm the worst with names. Miles Morales.
Best. BW Super Chat for $5. To follow up on experience, how many hours did you draw before you got in the industry, and how does this compare to once you broke in and to now? Thanks.
How does this compare?
What you broke in and what you do now. Your mom made you draw in her basement for 2 years. So long before Meredith chained Dave to the desk in our basement, he was chained to the desk in his mother's basement.
Is that how that worked?
That's how that worked.
She made me draw?
Isn't that what happened?
No, when did you hear this?
No, okay, she gave you 2 years and she said, figure it out or get out of the house.
They actually gave me 3 years.
Well, that was nice.
Yes, it was very nice. I got 3 years to, basically the deal was I had 3 years, and because I have no education, I'm a high school dropout, and they were getting a little frustrated with me, and so yeah, they gave me 2 years to do it or to get a real job and, you know, or go back to school or whatever, and I desperately didn't want to do that. So they actually did make me go back to school. All right, I'm gonna switch to ink.
You sure you're happy with it?
It's not getting any better. And I actually got work within 2 years, but you'd think that would be a year early. But by the end of 2 years, they had gotten so frustrated that my 3 years had already gotten cut down to 2. And when they brought me all the way to New York, this was the second time they brought me, and they said on the car ride on the way there, if this doesn't work, like, this is it. This is your last shot, you know? And so I thought, wow, okay, no pressure. But it worked, thankfully. I mean, I don't think I would have quit, but it certainly would have got more difficult. And the fact is, it is easier to get work at a convention when you actually... And the reason why it's easier is it's just way too easy for editors to ignore a new artist with their work. I mean, they just won't even look at it. When I was at Top Cow, we had a box full of submissions, and I hate to say this, but it's true. There was a box full of submissions. No one ever looked at it. And actually, it was that box that Mike Turner got found in, because they were looking for somebody. Next thing you know, we're all fiercely digging through trying to find somebody in the box, and you know, I want to say I didn't find him, but you know, collectively we found him. I was there for 2 months when Mike started.
All right. Next super chat comes from Greg L, who says, for $2, Greg L says, sounds great, would love to see you draw Miles. So Greg is excited about Miles Morales drawing.
Well, great, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I've already drawn Spider-Man.
Does Magik have horns? Does this Magik have horns?
No, she's got the black spiky things, these things right here that I already drew in. The one that I did when I was at Marvel back in the Dark Ages had horns. You know you're old when costumes have gone through... All right.
I just like my old stuff. I'm an old person now. Let's move on to Gerald.
You know the one thing that I am doing?
What?
Wrong. And I should fix it. Oh, I hate it, but... See, this is why pencils are such a good thing. She's got bangs, and I drew with long hair all the way through. And I'm looking at the reference. See, she's got bangs. Dang it.
Modern straight across bangs. All right. Gerald Varlick has a super chat for $5. Gerald says, Dave, I absolutely love your art. Do you ever have an artist block where you don't know what you want to draw? If so, how do you push through that?
It happens to me all the time, actually. Now I know what to draw because I've got a script. Or, you know, the hardest time for me is when somebody says, can I have a Wolverine cover? And I say, you know, what do you want on it? And they don't really know because the issue has actually not been written yet. So they have no idea what's going to happen in the issue. So it ends up having to be just basically, and I swear most of the covers that I do end up being that way, where it's, I just don't know what's going to be in the issue. I can't draw a specific background. So it ends up just being smoke or whatever. It happens all the time. And those can be tough covers for me to do because it's very easy, obviously, just to draw the same shot over and over doing that. So I find that can be a struggle. The way that I get over it is I just draw a million sketches until I get something that I like. And then I draw the actual picture and I get, you know, half an hour into it or more. And then I realize I don't like it and I go back to a different sketch. Happens. I just did a cover actually last week where actually I had 2 different pictures that I got pretty far in. So I didn't even tell you this, but by the way, that reminds me, I have a cover for Dynamite that I just finished last week, and Dynamite is doing an Indiegogo campaign for it. And so I don't think I can say what it is yet, or maybe I can, and I really should know by now. It's terrible that I don't, but we have an Indiegogo. Check out Dynamite. I just finished the cover.
It's up yet? Is it up yet?
I don't know. Maybe it's not up yet. Honestly, I have no idea. Anyway, I did a cover for Dynamite. They're doing an Indiegogo campaign for it, so hopefully, you'll check that out, or hopefully it's up. I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, I drew that thing. I got pretty far with it, and what I ended up turning in was completely not the layout that I turned in because I didn't like it. And
that sucks.
But you know what? I think it was better.
It was better. We forgot to finish Michael Johnson Curry's question, so he super chatted us again for $4.99 about your younger self trying to break into post COVID today. What advice would you give him?
Things are different today than they were then. Now, I sent my work in through the mail everywhere, back in the day, and I got response back, but it was never. Nobody liked what I was doing or came close to giving me any kind of work. excuse me. And it was really going to conventions where I found I did better, because you actually have somebody in front of you right there, and if they think your work's pretty good, and you don't come across like a jerk, then maybe they're inclined to hire you. It's a face-to-face connection, and I think that makes a big difference. And I understand the question is, we can't do that right now. Michael, this will not last. By next year, we will all be back, and conventions will be up and running again, and you can build those relationships and do that kind of thing. Now, I will say, part of what I want to work on with the website, it's going to have a forum one way or another. I will figure this out. Stuff is so beyond me, but I want to have a forum, and I would like to have a posting samples, and maybe if people looking for jobs, and advertise it as a place where if you're a publisher or if you are a writer and you're looking for an artist, that would be a good place to go look, because I don't know of a real centralized place. Now, I don't know if I could make my website that, but I'd like to try. So
that would be nice.
It'd be nice if it would work, but I mean, you can't just make something like that.
Yeah.
Those things happen organically.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll put up what I can to make it work. If it works, that would be great. But it will go how it goes.
All right.
But yes, I would say it's harder right now. There's just no two ways about that. And I don't know if I was looking for work right now, I'm really not sure exactly how I would pursue that. I think something that I would be considering right now is I think I would just be using this time, if it were me, to just keep going through the process, the learning process, and just basically reboot it every few months and start from square one and keep going and just keep learning. By the way, I keep saying by the way, but I have a lot of by the ways today. Tomorrow's video, which I'm going to be working on tomorrow, will be out on Wednesday, is going to be a bit different. Actually, I'm not going to be doing as much of a drawing demo. What I want to do tomorrow is actually really describe the process of breaking into comic, or it's not what the process of learning how to draw comics, basically a roadmap. So where to start, what to work on first, what books to get, and what to be looking at and what to be looking out for. And then once you get those first steps, then where to go from there, and then where to go from there, and then also to understand when you're here, to know when you need to double back, because you do. And it's a loop. I mean, you can't just, it's impossible to learn everything the way that you need to at once, and you end up and there you go, you're done. It's very much it's symbiotic. Everything kind of works together. So I want to show exactly how I did it, not only how I did it, but how I've also taught other artists that are working professionally now to do it. And that's going to be tomorrow's video, a roadmap.
Next, puppy's crying.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Next super chat is Danielle Castelli for $4.99. I'm going to read this. I'm going to go see what's going on with the puppy because there's no kid there. Hey, Finch fam. Dave, I saw you did the cover for Batman 98, but they credited a different artist. What's up with that? Does Meredith need to get involved?
That happens.
Need to get involved.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, look, it happens. And Ben Abernathy is the editor of that book, and he's a great editor, and he's a friend. And so, I don't think it's I don't think he was not crediting me to, take a shot or anything. Meredith, it's not the first time. It happens. They got a lot of stuff going on. Meredith says there's no excuse. You know what? It happens. And my name is on the actual cover itself, I think. I don't know. I just talked to Ben Abernathy today, so I'm pretty sure we're still good. All right, Meredith is gone. So let me go in here really quickly, because otherwise I'm just going to fall dead quiet. Chris Reader says, Eric Dushire's site, digital webbing has been a place for artists and writers and others to find each other for a long time. Ed is a letterer. Ryan Otley was heavy on those forums back in the day. Well, there you go. So there's a good place, digital webbing. Ross Klein says, roadmap where? Oh, Ross Klein says, I'm sorry I came in late. Is the video going to be Skillshare or YouTube? It's going to be on YouTube, and it should be by Wednesday. Generally speaking, I've been finding YouTube videos take me... I could edit them in an hour. You know, I could just put them together, and you'd have me pausing and stopping and not, you know, but in order to make them move along, they take actually a while to edit and plan. So, and I'm trying to make them as good as I can. In a lot of ways, I'm like amazed that anybody's watching them, and I'm not trying to get more people to watch them. I just don't want to lose the people that
Look at Isaac's little
are
face.
watching them. That's great.
Put on stream.
All right, there you go. I can't see it on there yet because there's a lag, but this is Isaac's face that he's just drawn. He looks sad. I'm guessing that was the point, that he's sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got in trouble tonight.
That's an apology note.
Just the face?
No, there's a note there, but he asked me not to show the note on camera.
Oh, okay.
So, I did not show the note on camera. Respect. Ian Shea, super chat for $4.99. What's the best approach to get a hero in a scene? No matter what I try to draw, first my characters look like stickers that don't belong.
It really comes down to... Okay, hold on. How can I explain this? Because it's a question I get quite a bit, and I feel like it's self-explanatory, which is ridiculous because it's self-explanatory because I had to learn it. And that's actually been a real challenge for me in trying to... Oh, Henry Jeremick asks, what's the book of the week? We will get there in 15 minutes. It's only 8:46,
yeah,
so...
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but... yeah, so much of the stuff I had to learn, and then you actually forget that you learned it, and you forget how you learned it, and then you know it, ideally, hopefully, you know? And so... yeah, yeah, it's been a challenge to try and figure out how to explain some of this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw just a box. And so there you go. There's my box. And I'll draw kind of through it like it's a bit of an X-ray. And so now if I draw a figure in that box, he's going to follow the same dimension as the box. And if I draw another one here, he's going to be kind of more up here. Knees will line up. And, you know, I could draw another one standing here. And really, you don't need a ton of perspective. Like, in order to make this work, I don't need to go through and draw in like really a refined perspective. All I need is basically just a simple guide. And to be honest, I do this in my head, but I didn't always. I had to really learn how to do this. And for the first while, it didn't matter if I was drawing a scene in the woods. I would draw perspective because I could not draw a dimensional scene unless I did that. And that's really what it comes down to. Now, I mean, if I drew a box like this, and then, you know, here I'll draw through. If I had a figure, he would be like this. I'm going really quick, so obviously it's terrible, but, and then another figure would be here, you know, here's the leg, here's the leg, and the other figure would be kind of here. And so there you go. They're figures in space, dimensionally. Now, there are ways to scientifically do this down to like the mathematical point. This was never how I learned. I ignored that stuff right from the beginning. I thought the amount of art book information that I found that was just obfuscation, you know, just confusion. I almost deliberate. It doesn't need to be that way. If you can draw a cube in perspective, which you can, then you can do this. And it's a bit of a leap, but it's not that much. It really is. I'm following the perspective with the figures. So the heads line up, the feet would line up, and you'll be amazed how quickly that you'll just actually see this in your head. Happens fast.
I just looked over here as I'm grabbing my water, and I noticed a bunch of new pop down here, Dave. What happened to giving up pop? Not this week? can mute me all you want, but I can project my voice, and they can hear me in the other microphone.
It doesn't even, you know what? I watched the playback last time.
Doesn't even mute.
Almost makes no difference.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's going to be the best. And it's a different microphone. I thought, okay, this one doesn't, you know what it is? It has patterns. I don't want to mess with it while we're doing this.
No.
But I think I have it set to like a universal. I need to set it so it just picks up the front. And that'll be more effective. I meant to do that, and it's been
Still
a busy
very
week.
good at projecting my voice.
Yeah, you are.
So. All right, Louis Colin has a super chat question for $4.99. Which is the very first comic cover you did?
It was Ripclaw 1/2.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
So it wasn't actually a comic that came out in a comic store. There was a time Wizard Magazine, which was the big, before the internet, Wizard Magazine was like the big deal that everybody wanted to, get into Wizard. Anyway, what they were doing with publishers is they would do a 1/2 issue, and publishers paid dearly to get that done. It was, quite the arrangement. And anyway, yeah, I did a Wizard 1/2, and to give you an idea of how that 1/2 did, my first convention that I went to, they were giving my book away if you bought a copy of Joe Benitez's book.
Oh, you're a freebie.
Yeah, it was a freebie. It was like, "Here, please take it." No, you know what? Don't even worry. You don't have to buy anything. Just
take it.
Take the box.
Please, just take it.
Yeah.
All right. RC Designs has an answer to our what would be the benefit of having the inks for this on Gumroad. And I think it's a valid answer.
Okay.
Artsy says, Meredith, I would like to work on becoming a color artist, and I would love a chance to color Dave's take on Magik.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, it's a deal. I'll put it up. And hopefully he did see that I put up a bunch of other inks. So, and it's a bunch of stuff. I tried to make sure that it's not stuff that's, because there are some inks that you can find. It's all new stuff, I think. Certainly, at least most of it would be. If I, screwed up and some of it's already been shown, it wouldn't be most of it.
One Mighty R has a $2 super chat. One Mighty R says, I've been using some of your tips. Thanks.
Oh, well, thank you, Mighty.
And then there's a super chat for Anthony Gee for $9.99. Hey, Dave, this might be too big of a question for here, but any tips or tricks for translating realistic faces to comic style while maintaining likeness? I've drawn and erased the same face a dozen times.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's not... okay, to really answer properly is probably a tough question to answer, but it's not actually as tough a question as you might think. The way that I do it, I just had to do this, actually. I just did for our Black Panther.
Did you really cartoon his face?
I cartoon it as much as I would normally. Okay, when he says cartoon, what he means is make it look like comic style.
Okay.
We could argue about it, but anyway, point being, the way that I do it is I totally cheat, and Mark Silvestri did this too, so I come by it honestly. And as far as I'm concerned, if Mark Silvestri did it, then it's the right way to do it. He used a light box. I actually just use my computer monitor, and I put up the face that I need to draw. I can't do likenesses. If you can do it, J. Scott Campbell is a genius at that, and so he doesn't have that problem. For me, I can't draw likenesses. I don't have all day to be trying to make that work. I put it up there, I trace it. I don't really get detail. What I just need is the placement and the shapes of the features, and just make sure everything's in. And then I just light it the way that I would normally light anything. I don't really follow the lighting. And you know what? I actually did really follow the lighting on that much more, so I think that's fair. But yeah, you'd be amazed at how just drawing the way that you would normally draw, if you get the features and the proportions right, it ends up looking like the person. That's how I would do it every time. I've done it a bunch, and yeah, I don't know of a better way.
Greg
Well,
L.
better way is being more talented.
There you go. Practicing to do that.
Yeah.
Greg L has a $2 super chat. Greg says, my rendering's so much better in pencil than in ink. I don't know why.
Well, pencil's a little more forgiving. It really is. And I would say my rendering is better. It's smoother and got more of a, smooth feel. Whereas inking, you get a black line no matter how lightly you push, so it's less forgiving for sure. and it takes a certain amount of, you really have to work through it. Basically, you really need to make sure with ink. With a pencil, you can kind of get away with a little bit of messiness. I don't think so, truthfully, but with ink, you want every line to be perfectly even. I don't know if it seems like it would be difficult to do this. It's actually incredibly easy.
Greg says, maybe I used the wrong size pen to ink.
Well, let's talk about what I use, actually. So, and I've shown you guys this before, but I use a Micron 01. I've got a bunch of sizes. I always use this one. I never go smaller than this. There's like an 005, which is half this size. At that point, I can actually get good detail from it, but it doesn't necessarily print well, and I can go crazy and it'll take me twice as long. So I limit myself to this. That's as small as I get. And then and I'll use it on this one, and you guys have seen this one, I'm sure too, but this is my Tombow, I'm always upside down, Tombow Fununasuki. I'm pronouncing that, who knows, but it's a brush pen, and you just get a good thin to thick, or thick to thin. I guess you go thin to thick too, just like this. I'm not very good at pulling that kind of line. Some inkers always go thin to thick. I don't have that. I guess it depends on what you're comfortable with. And then I just use my brush, and I use that for broader areas. And sometimes, every once in a while, I feel so loosened up and comfortable that I can ink actually even fairly detailed with it. It happens, but it's rare. So I never plan for that. I always plan for the fact that I can't get detail with a brush, because usually I can't. Yeah, you'll definitely find, well, I remember years ago somebody asking me, I guess an art instructor was saying that you should spend some time just drawing circles and just loosening up your hand. And I remember laughing about it and saying, I don't have time. Like, I have an actual job to do, to be sitting there drawing a bunch of circles. I'll loosen up by drawing. And the amount of days that I have where I'm so tight and it takes ages, and I probably would have been better off to just loosen up. So it's probably good advice, actually.
Jeffrey Niffen has a super chat question for $1.99. How do you decide different camera angles to draw?
Okay, so if I want a character to look really commanding, I could draw him like this. And you're looking up at him, and I'll like shadow it. So it's, it's dramatic. And if I want a character to look more intimidated, I could draw him, you're looking down at him. I'm drawing so small, there's no way this is showing. Let me zoom in just for a minute here. Draw this tiny little circle here. Okay. And it looks much more vulnerable, I think, at that kind of an angle, and a little more sad, And if I really want to see a whole scene, this kind of angle also really works, because I can draw, like, here's a car. I'll just draw it as a square, like, I don't want to get crazy. And here's a building here, and the awning, and some people here, and maybe like a guy is lying dead on the street, and there's a few other people standing over him. You really want to see that whole scene. I'm totally drawing this whole thing off the camera here. You really want to see this whole scene, which is a total disaster anyway. What's the point even putting this up on the screen? But here's a person, and here's my building. I'll draw a window, and another window. And so you really can see the entire scene. There's my person laying on the road, another person looking at him. And I could have like maybe, an ambulance pulling up here. It got the sirens going. And you see everything. So that's a really good way to get a good shot of that. Now, the same kind of a scene, if I drew, I want to make sure that I'm, let's just go to the back of this thing here. So I could draw my ambulance coming in here. Here's the siren up here. My mirror for the ambulance. And, the wheel. And that takes up the whole, corner of the panel, and then I could have maybe like a couple of people here gathered together, try and arrange them compositionally, and like some hoses going into the scene, and then like a car here. This is how I do all my layouts too. They're incomprehensible unless you're me, but that's a car, believe it or not. And then I've got my dead guy here, and maybe like there's a cop kind of leaning over him, and you got your buildings and everything in the foreground, and some people in the background, kind of like there's my crowd in the background. And that's actually much more, and it's more intimate. And so you're actually seeing it as somebody walking up on the scene. So one is actually, it's more of an establishing shot, and this one actually really puts you into the scene. And that's a thing that I think about is, do I want something where I'm more detached from the scene and I'm seeing the whole thing like pulled away? Or do I want to really, you know, pull into the scene and you see it as if you're an observer coming up upon it? So, and, you know, another thing is just mood, you know. Your lighting can really set a lot of different mood. You know, it's... And, okay. I'm thinking about like 5 different things, and I just completely ground to a halt.
Pick one.
Pick one. Okay, so you have a choice. Like, let's say you wanted to do an establishing shot of, here's a house, and I'll draw a window, and it's lit, you know, and everything else is just going to be dark, and the whole thing is just flat. And I'll have a tree coming up here, and it's all basically a big vignette, and, you know, some bushes here, whatever, another tree here, and I could put that, and maybe a moon here, and that really pulls you out of the scene, and it establishes the whole thing from a distance, is like, this is where we are, you know. Or you could draw that same scene, and, you know, here's my house, here's the door, you know, whatever, it's all in perspective. I've got my walkway and a window. Anyway, it's a house, right? And then trees in the background, maybe a kid going by on the bike there, you know. Anyway, it's a disaster, I know, but it's a totally different approach. One has, I think, a little bit more mood, and it really just, it's a quick establishing shot and then moves you into the scene, whereas this one has, it's more of a, it really slows down. I think it's more effective for, you know, maybe the first time you see something. So if you haven't seen that house before, you don't really know what it is, then doing a really good establishing shot where you really see it is important. If you're going back to a scene and you've already shown it 3 times, and doing something like this is perfect. And it doesn't, you don't want to wear out your reader by showing that same thing over and over again. You really want to kind of break it up, and that can be effective for that. So that was my one other thing I was thinking about. I don't know if that's the most effective, but off the cuff, that's what I was thinking. Let me zoom back up a bit.
Next super chat is from JR for $5. JR says, I notice in some of your art you'll use a core shadow, line and hatching, and other times you'll just block in shadows. What causes you to choose?
Sometimes time, it's quicker for me to not do a core shadow and just to shadow all the way out, because I'm not having to think about the other light source. So that can be one thing. If I want it to be moodier, I really like to do a core shadow and really make that really strong over the whole face and, you know, the front of the figure, and it really makes it mysterious. And I like doing, you know, a rim light around the whole thing. So that's a look that I'm a big fan of. If I want something that, obviously I can't draw a figure that way, it would look ridiculous. So yeah, I'll just draw a simple shadow and keep it relatively light and small, just so it's not too overpowering and not making a statement. And if a lot of times I really like a solid shadow, more of a Mike Mignola kind of a shadowed look. And I think that kind of thing can work really well. Also, the benefit of doing that is if I draw a core shadow and then draw a black background, it really pops the figure from the background. If I don't draw a core shadow and I draw just a shadow along the side of a figure, it actually kind of melts into the background, which is an effect that is effective depending on the kind of shot.
All right, Senior Finch.
Is it time for Book of the Week?
I need some cue up music.
Cue up music? Oh, I keep knocking my mic. I don't know. Okay, I'm the worst. That had to be like the worst sound. All right, here we go. Cue up music. Playing. Okay, here we go. All right, go.
You're the one with the book of the week, not me.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if that's what you were. I said the book of the week. And you...
Well, yeah, you gotta cue up the music for the book of the week.
All right.
What do you think I am here?
Let me zoom out just a little bit more here.
I'm only the moderator.
Okay, so this is a big one for me. And my copy's all covered in paint because every time I ever try and paint, which is nowhere near as much as I'd like to, I end up looking at this book. And actually, I end up looking at this Glenn Fabry. This is all Glenn Fabry. So it's Preacher, but it's a collection of covers. It's all the covers. Covers by Glenn, Dead or Alive, covers by Glenn Fabry. I have most of the Preacher books. I'm missing some that I've given away or whatever, lent out. But when this book came out, I was so thrilled because it's all the covers all at once. And I love this book for the fact that he's a painter. So this is actually, it's not just pure black and white. There's like there's a lot of gray. And so there's a certain amount of interpretation, but he's really great with core shadow. Like that is phenomenal shadowing and it's really well defined. And I've never seen anyone before or since, I don't think it's possible to do better wrinkles and just wrinkle patterns on a face. And so this is something that I see people, struggle with a lot is getting that kind of stuff to look right. Well, Glenn Fabry, I think you cannot go wrong. Just the way he makes this stuff look is, and the hands too. I've gotten so much stuff from hands, like the wrinkling inside, this part of the hand here, all through here. His wrinkles are absolutely phenomenal. I struggled with this stuff for ages, and then all of a sudden it started clicking, and I can't do it as well as he can. And that's how it always works for me. Whenever I look at an artist, I can never pull it off as well as they can. It's a little disturbing, that one. But, I've stolen from that too. Some of the pictures are better than others. Like that one, I love that. And his anatomy is incredible too. It's beautiful stuff. And there are a few that this week, of course, I forgot to really bookmark anything. That's such a great face. And yeah, I don't know if you can tell, if any of you can tell, the amount of stuff that I've taken from Glenn Fabry over the years just by looking at this and you kind of see what I mean, hopefully. But there we go. Look at that hand. Can you see it? Look at that. She doesn't care, but
looks great.
It's ridiculous. And yeah, I think that you don't need to go that detailed, but to have this as like a map for how to get some of that stuff really working, like the folds and the frown lines and the wrinkles around the eyes and that kind of stuff. I think you cannot beat this book. It's the best stuff out there for that kind of detail. It's incredible. Look at that hand. It's incredible. So anyway, it's a massive influence on me. I was going through my books trying to think, what do I want to show this week? What's appropriate? And I keep passing over this book and I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Like, this is such a big one for me over the years. Not actually this book, because I had all of the books and I would have to sort through them all. But now there's the handy all-in-one book of all his paintings, and it's ridiculously good stuff. So I highly recommend it. All right, there's the book of the week.
Perfect.
Music.
What is that?
I don't even know. I can't hear it. It says intro, so it's going to be something pretty cheesy.
It was the intro and the extra.
Yeah.
All right, I know. That extra is not a word, but being at past 9 isn't in Meredith's language either.
Yeah.
John Ray has our next super chat.
Hi, Skip Edwards. Sorry. I just looked up and it was right there.
May I continue?
Yes, you may.
John Ray has a super chat for 500 Filipino PHP, which I'm assuming is Filipino. But are they pesos? I don't know.
Either way, we very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate the super chat. Hi, David Meredith, says John. Always a pleasure following your live stream. Hello from the Philippines. This is how I know also that it's Philippines.
That definitely makes your guess more.
My question, have you, because I'm not that smart, have you experienced doubt in your talents and considered you're not good enough? And if so, how do you fight it and push through?
That was John?
Yes.
Well, thank you, John. And yes, over and over again, constant. Yeah, absolutely. I really have. I fought with that really badly before I broke in, and I really thought, if I can just get in and just get, my first shot, that'll tell me that I'm where I need to be. And I think that Michael Johnson Curry's going through this right now, and I hope that. You know what? Look, I think he will. He's on here every week. He's very dedicated. He'll get through it, but it's so hard to deal with that. It's such that kind of self-doubt. And you know what? This isn't the kind of thing where some things I think are art is a hobby, but if you want to take it seriously, it's a very challenging thing, but it's also such an expression of who you are and what you represent, and you put so much of your soul into it, and to be judged for that, yeah, it's really, really hard. It certainly was for me. I fought with that really badly. I remember throwing my pencil against the wall and just giving up, and then when I actually did get work, I remember telling Joe Benitez, who was another artist at Top Cow, phenomenal artist. He's done a ton of stuff. I know I don't want to digress, but point is that I remember telling him, I know I can't help it. I told him if I can't get better in 6 months, I'm going to quit. And I remember Joe, who is a very, very good friend and very supportive. He was like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. I don't think he took me seriously. But the thing is that so many people did. The amount of people that broke in, and I don't know if any of you have heard me say this before, but I'm pretty sure I've said this on one of the live streams before, but people would break in and they would just walk away. Nobody ever got fired. It never happened. People would just quit, amazingly, but they did. And it's self-doubt, and it is a killer. It will destroy your dreams, and you cannot let it. I fought through it. I fought through not being talented enough, not being able to pick things up as naturally as some people. I will say, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit and say that I think that I'm maybe a bit of a better teacher than I could be, because none of this came easily for me. I really had to overthink the heck out of it constantly. And so it made me, have to come up with strategies. But yeah, that lack of talent almost broke me for sure. And all I could say is do not let that stop you, because the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't is not talent. Beyond a certain level, there is a point, but beyond a certain level, it truly is not talent. What it is dedication and not giving up. And if you don't know how to draw 3-point perspective and it's not working, well, you fight to figure that out, no matter how hard it is and what the obstacles are, and that's the difference. So that would be my advice. And yeah, I've certainly struggled with that. I still do quite a bit, actually, more than I would like to admit.
Kaz has our next super chat for $5. Hi, David. Love your work. Would you consider doing a 2-part background stream? I'm assuming by that, like a stream where you just do backgrounds.
That's a really good question. I'm going to say why I don't want to do it. And that doesn't mean that I won't do it, but hear me out. I don't want to do it because I don't think that most people would actually really enjoy it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's, here's my thing. Like, I'd rather do a video about backgrounds because, if it doesn't do that well, like, I don't know. And see, this is me, like I'm talking about, confidence. Well, I'm afraid of doing something that is going to have people going, what am I watching this for? Like, what's going on here? It's a background. That really is what's going through my head, truthfully. Why I haven't done that, and why I'm generally sticking with, character and trying to make it entertaining. But what I would like to do, and something that I'm actually planning on doing fairly soon, we'll see, but I've been working on a website, and when I get that set up, I want to have like a stream associated with a website, and like smaller groups, and just to be able to go through, some things like that. And, spend a bunch of time on some backgrounds and some different things, and really do an in-depth study. What did I do with my ruler? I think that would be great. I don't know that it's appropriate for the stream. This is where everybody's going to say, what are you talking about? But, or maybe not. Maybe I was thinking, who knows?
All right. Ladman Comics has a super chat question for $5. Good evening, Finch family. Do you have any tutorials on simplifying human torso? Love your videos, and thanks for sharing your knowledge.
I do and I don't. I have my figure drawing, tutorials that are up on my website right now. They've been up there for quite a while, and you can check those out. And there's a lot of tutorial or torso stuff on there, but not in the same way that I did with arms. What I'm going to really say is a really good resource for that, and really what I got all my arm stuff from, is George Bridgman. So I would give that a try. George Bridgman's Guide to Life Drawing is a great resource. Now, he really wasn't doing now see, I want to pull that book out so I could show it, but I know we gotta keep moving here. You're gonna kill me if I take too long, and I'm already kind of lagging just a little bit. I'm trying, Meredith. But anyway, to answer your question quickly, that is actually, I was planning on doing that this week, but I got some good questions about, like, where do I go from here and what's the strategy? And I think that's such an important thing to have. You want to learn how to draw all these different things, but really, if you don't know how to continue, you need a roadmap. And so that's the idea anyway, and that's going to be this week. And then for the next one, I will do torsos. It is coming. I can't answer anything quickly.
It's all right. My stream, Eric was complaining about the stream, and it's kind of messed up me too. So I might miss the super chat, but I'll come back because I'm having to watch it in 2 different places. While that's happening, I have a super chat from Jason Ladwig for $4.99. What old generation artist, Kirby, etc. inspired you? Did you get to meet them, and were they still inspiring in real life?
Yeah, I got to meet Walt Simonson a few times, and he's like the nicest guy in the world. That was really, amazing. I got to meet John Byrne. I got to meet.
Remember how excited you were to meet John Byrne?
Oh, yeah.
Arthur Adams. Remember the first
time?
Yeah,
Arthur Adams.
Arthur Adams. You're like, that's Arthur Adams. And then I talked to him, you're like, you can't talk to Arthur Adams.
He's the worst, though. He's a terrible guy. I'm kidding. Arthur, I'm kidding. he's great.
Nicest guy.
He really is.
I really have broken a lot of your, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so, because...
Actually, it's true. I wouldn't not talk to these people otherwise. And, all the image guys. Will Sprotasio is such a great guy. Let me quickly switch here so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so a bunch. Now, unfortunately, I never got to talk to Jack Kirby. He actually passed away a year before I got into comics. He passed away in '93, and I got in '94. So my first convention that I ever went to was in '94. So unfortunately, I missed that chance. And Frank Frazetta, I would have loved to have met, but he didn't really do comic conventions and never got that chance. So yeah, there have been a bunch, and then another one that's really big for me is John Buscema, who I never got to meet, unfortunately. And sometimes you think, oh, you know what, because we do a lot of conventions, we'll run into each other, and I'll see him, and I'll get to maybe shake his hand and say hi or whatever, and then it doesn't happen, and they pass away, and you lose that chance. I did get to meet Joe Kubert, which was a big deal for me, and I'm very, very glad, because he's no longer with us, which is a huge shame. And I'm glad that I got to meet him.
Next super chat comes from Cal Varnson for $5. Cal wants to know, how often are you using reference versus drawing from your mind and memory? How much of this is just like writing your name for you?
Not actually this much right now, because I really didn't like the last time I drew a female picture at all. Like, I was really unhappy with it, and so I really didn't want this one to look bad. And so I'm kind of like going the extra mile a little bit to try and mitigate the possibility that would happen. Already her foot looks stupid. This is why image artists don't draw feet. But yeah, no, I would say when I'm drawing a monthly comic book, 99% of it is just right out of my head, just whatever I can think of on the spot. I don't have time to be, overthinking too much. And when I do use reference, every once in a while, I've got a whole folder full of anatomical pictures, that kind of thing. I almost never use it, really. I'm more likely to look at other comic artists, truth be told. But for the most part, I pretty much draw it in my head. I would say when I'm struggling, and Meredith will tell you that it's a waste of time, because I end up just drawing myself anyway. Like, every time I try and look at something, I end up just going down a rabbit hole, and I would have been better off to just, you know, just relax and just draw it. It always happens on covers and things that I want it to be really good, you know. And so, and I'll find actually what will happen for me too is, and I showed you guys this book a few weeks ago. It was Mike Kaluta, and he had all these like great vines and like vegetation and cool stuff like that. And I really wanted to use that for a picture that I was drawing. And I find it takes me a bit to get the feel of it. And once I do, then I'm good and I can close the book. So it takes me, you know, probably, let's say out of the picture, half an hour, I try, you know, this little shape and that little shape. And then, yeah, I kind of get the feel out of it that, well, basically I get out of it what I can, what I'm capable of. And then the rest just, you know, it becomes mine.
All right. Next super chat comes from Sven Jensen for $5. Hey, Sven. Sven says, Dave, I love your inks. Can you say if you are inking your mystery comic?
I am, yes. And thank you, Sven. I appreciate it. And yes, I am. It'll be not my first comic that I've inked, like fully, because I did a Batman one too, but it'll be the first one that I've inked where, because it's tighter inks than what I'm able to do here. And I'm actually really happy with it. I feel like there are a few places where it was a little shaky, and yeah, I'm so comfortable with it now. I actually feel almost kind of more comfortable inking than penciling.
That's scary. Becoming an Inca.
Well, yeah.
Daniel Castelli has a super chat for $4.99. A lot of those amazing artists you mentioned haven't done any titles in about years. What do artists do for income if they're not working on titles?
You know, that is a good question. I've always wondered that myself.
We will let you know as life goes on.
Yeah, you know, I really have actually wondered, like, what do you... And nowadays things are different. Like, you can imagine Jim Starlin. Now, Jim Starlin created Thanos and Infinity War and the Infinity Gauntlet. He's doing okay. Not only from Marvel, but also from just going to conventions and appearances and that kind of thing. He's done great. But it was not that long ago before the movies when if you were not working and you weren't current, I would go to conventions, and older artists that were, you know, incredible and were long time respected artists would just have nobody there to see them at all because people forget so fast, you know. But that's really changed, and I think that's great. So, you know, maybe commissions and whatever, but yeah, truthfully, I actually kind of don't know. Maybe they're smarter with money than I am.
Yeah, maybe they're working at McDonald's.
Oh no, I think they're all doing fine.
I'm sure they are. Jordan Clark has a super chat for $5. Jordan says, I got the Bridgman book this week. Thank you for recommending it. A lot of info to take in at once, but the hand section has already been super helpful.
Oh, that's great, Jordan. I am glad. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I never read a word of it. I looked at the pictures, and it did so much for me. It's still a massive book for me. It's always embarrassing when somebody asks me about a concept that he's explaining in there, and I'm like, well, I don't know what you mean, because I never actually read it. Just looked at the pictures. But you know, I think what I loved about his work is just his ability to not so much draw anatomy as to draw constructive shapes.
Oh, the couch of death. Look at how saggy it is. Like, I'm not that heavy, but I swear I'm a foot up from one half of the pillow to the other.
You know what you need to do? But like, come down here early at some point and try and set it up in a way that you're comfortable. Because I don't know what to tell you.
The couch is broken.
Is it, you think?
Yes. This couch, when we move, is not coming with us.
All right.
This couch is going into... You know what it needs?
What?
Board underneath it. So when you sit down, you sit on a piece of plywood.
Oh, you know what? This is like our bed, which has to... I like a softer surface. Our bed is like a board, and so is our couch downstairs too.
I know, I love it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Firm.
We need one of those adjustable things. You know what I mean?
The Craftmatic adjustable bed.
Yep.
Well, next bed we can be that, except you can't have a nice headboard.
You know you're getting old when you're talking about craft mag.
No, here's what I would say. I think you can get them where they heat up. And that would be all right in the winter.
It really would, yeah.
Where you get in and your bed's already warm. Because as it is, I have to get you to sleep on my side while I'm brushing my teeth so that the bed is not an ice box.
Yeah, you know what? We are...
Probably would help that I don't leave the window open all winter, but I also like the fresh air.
We're months away from a step-in bathtub. You know, with the door swings open.
Speak for yourself. Just need a comfy couch. Boomer bed speaks, says Kenneth Day. One Mighty R says showroom couches are always plush and comfy. They are. And One Mighty R says couch shopping, that'd be fine. No, we've got 3 couches in this house. They don't all need to come with us. Although I don't really want you inking on any of them except this piece of...
See, there you go.
Uncomfortableness.
It's coming with this house.
It's not in bad shape. Like, it's not an old couch.
You know what we'll do?
There's no excuse for how uncomfortable it is. If you have back problems, it's because you sit on this thing.
Maybe.
I've told you that before. You know.
Also, I don't have back problems.
Just because you do, yeah, because now you're sitting at your desk.
I don't anyway.
You were telling me you were having back problems.
I was not.
You did say it, old man.
30 years old.
George wants to know, Dave, always love your work. Do you prefer Magik the way you're drawing her now or the way you did in the cover of Infernus? It is always Meredith. I love to hear your dulcet tones in the background. My smoker's cough.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Thanks, Neil.
Yes, thank you, Neil. I prefer the older version. And apparently so does Meredith. And I've been getting flack about it all night. But I did it this way because this drawing is for someone that I owe this picture for. It's actually, I'm overdue. So, and I thought this is the way that I should do it. But Meredith's saying that I'm wrong there too. So we'll find out. You know what? She's so nice. She's just going to say, oh, thank you. It's perfect.
I know she will.
So you're not going to know.
I'll say, look, let me know. Because I can.
Yeah, because I can
make this monkey dance again. Oh, where's the laugh track?
Oh, I need to be careful. I'm going to have to give this a second.
Oh, dear.
I kind of got too much ink on it. Go down here.
Well, while you do that, let's answer Danielle Castelli's super chat question for $4.99. Oh no, I apologize. I'm not yawning for the question. Did you know if you buy Bridgman's individual books, they have a lot of material that was edited out of the complete edition? A lot of great stuff.
No kidding.
Have you ever seen his individual books?
No, you know what? I've had like 5 copies of. I've got it right up on the shelf, just over here. Bridgman's. It's the complete guide to drawing from life. It used to be Guide to Life Drawing, or at least that was the copy that I had before. Now the copy. Anyway, I did not know that. Well, you know what I'm doing right when this is done? I'm gonna go find that stuff.
Thanks, Daniel. We're gonna need more than $4.99 for a super chat to pay for those books now.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding. Oh no, now we're just getting punchy.
And you know what? I'm still young. I'm still learning. So.
You are. Is that what you tell yourself?
Yep.
Joe Blankenship says it's a sleep number bed that we need. The Craftmatic is the hospital bed. I'm gonna put a Craftmatic just for you, Dave.
Sleep number. That actually sounds right. Yeah, you adjust your firmness.
Yeah, I want one that heats up. Strife has a super chat for $2.99. Jim Lee also says you don't read GB. Copy him.
Well, there you go. I'm in good company.
Yeah. I didn't know what GB was. It took me a minute to realize that was George.
Yeah, George Bridgman. You know, I
read.
My opinion is that most art instruction is garbage, truthfully, because it's just confusing, and I don't think it's for the sake of, like, I don't think it's on purpose that it's confusing, but it is. And
George Bridgman.
It doesn't need to be. I really think they're simple concepts. What they are is hard to internalize. and not even so much hard. It's just time. It takes time and dedication and repetition to really, have it at command. You know what? It's like handwriting. You can learn it. You're not going to learn it all in one day. And then when you do learn it, you're going to have very stiff looking childlike handwriting. And, by the time you're, in university and you're a doctor, nobody can read it anymore because it's a scrawl. And that's how comic art is. The difference is, of course, you never want to be a doctor. Like, the idea is to learn and get so good with it that you're really comfortable with it, but then never take it for granted to the point where it's unreadable and you just lose everything that you learned. So you have to respect it and constantly be learning. So yeah, handwriting is a good analogy, but not to the point when you're a doctor.
All right.
Does that make sense?
9:30.
Totally didn't make sense, did it?
It's time for Meredith's mug count.
Mug count? What are you talking about?
Every week now at 9:30. Dave has his book of the week at 9. At 9:30, I'm going to do the Meredith mug count.
Did you just make this up right now?
I did. As I'm looking around your office.
Oh.
I'm going to count the number of mugs that are down here and sitting in the dishwasher or my kitchen cupboard.
I need a new co-host. Thank you, Meredith.
There's a Captain Canuck mug. Because, of course, we're Canadian. How can we not have a Captain Canuck mug? There's a Superman mug. There's a plain white mug that used to have a child's drawing on it.
Yeah, I got washed too many times.
But then somebody who should remain nameless, but his initials are DF, put it in the dishwasher, and that basically washed any semblance of the marker.
Oh yeah, I totally remember the part where I was warned about that.
Then there's an XM Studio mug. Four mugs.
Is that how many it is?
Ha.
Yeah.
4 mugs down here. Which leads me to Greg L's super chat, which for $2. Greg says, "Just love you guys, LOL." I'm not sure Greg loves us now. I just made you guys sit through 5 minutes counting 4 mugs.
And the whole point is that I have this camera pointed like right here.
Mugs. Oh, 5! 5 mugs.
That one?
5 mugs. You move, and I can see the Batman mugs sitting on your
I've got the camera pointed right there. And that is the clean part of my office. The rest is, it's not, you know what? Okay, it's not great, but it's not. I've got a lot of coffee mugs. That's it.
Yeah, you could take some of them up. To be fair, I'm not having to do any bowl bouncing right now, so
yeah, no,
there's only mugs down here today.
Yeah, so there you go.
So 5 mugs.
5
mugs.
5 coffee mugs.
Sheldon Martin has a super chat for $5. He says, "Here's 5 clams for new couch."
Oh, well, thank you, Sheldon.
Also, have you guys heard of Wim Hof?
No,
I've not.
I need some kind of context.
So do I. WIM, capital HOF. We're old.
Yeah, like off the cuff, off the top of my head, I'm thinking it's an artist, maybe. But now it's going to be like last week where we were talking about a TV show, and meanwhile it's a character from Karate Kid.
Yeah, remember that? That was awesome.
Yeah, we're dumb. Yeah, I watched that one back in the replay. And
I want to sing a song, but I can't because I don't know. Like, it's probably just some music that's copyrighted somewhere, so I'm not going to sing it.
Yeah. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Copyrighted music, so you can't sing.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, we did probably a couple streams where you were singing here and there, because you just do. And we never even thought about it before it came up.
Yeah. One Mighty Arse wants to know if you eat or draw. Or if you eat and draw, or do you take a break and eat? Take a break.
Yeah, I take a break.
You drink a coffee and draw, but you don't eat and draw. And apparently our Mixie thinks I'm being a Debbie Downer by counting your mugs.
I agree.
I just would like sometimes for there to be mugs in my cupboard when I look for a mug. I'm like, where are all my mugs?
My point is that I'm being publicly mug shamed.
You are. I just thought Meredith's mug minute. Isn't that, come on, nice little bit of alliteration. The Wim Hof method is the Iceman.
The Iceman? I still don't understand even remotely.
Who's the Iceman? Oh my gosh. Wim Hof method. Oh my gosh. I feel like this isn't something I should need to know because I'm not an artist. This is something that you're falling down on. You're letting
I should
down
know
right now. Letting everybody down.
Well,
3 people. Hockey says, oh, actually not just 3. Drew Mayer says, Jay says ice. Hockey, the Iceman. Michael J. McCurdy, Wim Hof is the Iceman. Jonathan Brenz, Wim Hof, the Iceman. Inkwell, Wim Hof method. No.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to look it up.
He's a respiration meditation guy. Really cool stuff.
Huh.
All right. No, see, there. That's it. That's why we don't know who Wim Hof is, because neither one of us meditates.
There you go. Maybe that would help. I wouldn't drink so much coffee and leave the mugs down here.
I should have my own mugs, Meredith Finch. I do have my own mugs, Artsy Designs. I have my teacups, and Dave has his coffee mugs. They're very different because one does not drink tea out of a ceramic coffee mug. It tastes terrible. However, children have started using my teacups.
Yeah, it's real shame.
And now I can't find a freaking teacup in the morning because they're scattered all over the house. They're up in Isaac's room and Everett's room, or they're dirty in the dishwasher. So I have to wash a mug in the morning to have a cup of tea because there's 5 mugs down here that they could be using but aren't. And they don't care if their tea comes in a Superman mug or a nice kitty china cup.
Well, it was not me that tried to start him on tea.
Well,
all right.
It is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Oh, the Iceman. UFC, the Iceman. UFC, Ultimate Fighting.
Yeah, and I don't know that.
Oh.
And I totally don't either.
See, it's not, again, I don't need to know who this is because I don't watch UFC. So you did.
Yeah, and I should know that. But you know what? I go to a friend's place every weekend, pretty much, you know, and his son is 18. He's a huge sports fan, like every kind of sport, and he's a big UFC fan. And yeah, I go there and he's talking, and I'm like, I keep up on the UFC news. I watch it all the time, and I have no idea what he's talking about half the time. Like, it's just
Apparently,
so much to keep up with.
Wim Hof teaches you how to control your breathing and remain mostly submerged in ice water. And I just want to say why. I mean, I hear that this is his claim to fame. Why? Why does anybody want to remain mostly submerged in ice water for any amount of time? Ever. There's a lot of things. I mean, maybe because I live in Canada and it's just icy all the time in the winter. But that guy clearly is not from cold country.
You know, you're going to be so wrong, guaranteed.
I probably am. But I'm just saying why.
Well, there you go.
Why? All right, let's see. Have I missed any super chats? Apparently. Oh, maybe he might be good. Rike Inglaze 123 thinks he might work for my cough. Maybe. I could try that.
Oh, maybe
Michael
that's why
J.
you brought it.
McCurdy, the Wim Hof method activates your immune system, reduces inflammation, something like that.
Huh.
All right, I am not sitting in ice water for it though.
Well, you know what? Why not?
So
I
will Google it.
You did MagnaWave, which
I did.
You know.
If anybody has heard of MagnaWave, I tried MagnaWave for my cough. Didn't work. But
it was very difficult for me to not sneer.
it worked. It works for my horses. The Slayer has a $10 question. Do you watch anime or any other animations?
Yes. Now, anime, not actually too much. I certainly have. But, okay, here's my problem mostly with anime is I watch, most stuff that I watch while I work, and I can't watch something that's subtitled. Because I'm drawing and I'm not looking up enough. Like, usually when I'm watching a movie or something, I'm hearing probably 80% of it. So it's not very often I'll watch a Japanese movie, and you know there have been a few that I've really, really loved, and it's kind of a shame. I just don't have time, and you know, and animation, like other kinds of animation. We have kids, so it's easy for me to find an excuse. What did we just watch, Meredith? What was the movie I just watched?
I'm Googling breathing like Wim Hof to make us superhuman.
I just went to the theater this weekend.
Breathing. You watched the SpongeBob movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Joe Blankenship says, I put my leftovers in the microwave to heat them up and then I eat them.
Yeah. Much more effective.
Yeah. It's not like that. It's like magnetic, harnessing the magnetic field of your body.
Yeah, it's like crystals. You know?
Hey, somebody listening might have a bracelet on their wrist that has a magnet in it.
I'm laughing at you then. You and Meredith.
You can laugh all you want.
And I will.
I'm going to outlive you.
And
I
you will.
hope so. Not that I want to outlive you, but
You don't want to die young?
I don't want to die young.
Right.
I don't actually have to worry about that because only the good die young. I'm going to live forever. Hollow Manjin Boo 2 has a $5 super chat, but no question.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, no, here it is.
Okay.
It said something underneath it. Anime must be watched in Japanese or you're missing out in life.
See, I agree. And I just can't. The only time I watch TV and I'm not working is when I watch with you. And you're not going to sit down and watch that.
I'm not.
So, horror movies, I watch on my own. What else? Basically everything. Horror, yeah. Mostly I watch horror movies if I'm watching something without you, generally speaking.
All right. SCS Powerlifting has a $5 super chat and wants to know, Dave, speaking of movies, why do you think Marvel stopped making animated movies?
They did? They put out Spider-Man was animated. Into the Spider-Verse. Is this like the kind of animated movies that DC's doing more still? You know, that kind of like stuff released for television? Is that what he means, maybe? Okay, well, I'll say this. I could only speculate. I have no idea.
It's like, the little... Somebody's going to hate me for saying this. Like DC does little cheapo movies. They're not really they're made for TV movies.
Okay, let's all stop now.
They're not cheapo, but you know what I mean? Like, they're not big screen animated movies. Like, Into the Spider-Verse was like a big screen animated movie, right?
Yeah, JLA Teen Titans, one of the greatest movies ever. So...
But they're made with a smaller budget.
They're made with a... Sure, fair enough.
They have a bit of a small, like a TV Saturday morning cartoon feel.
Yeah, well, come on. I apologize.
I just don't know how to differentiate. Like, there's a different... they're not the first episode of Family Guy bad.
I hope you have a lot of goodwill built up on this show, because right now you have people shaking their heads.
Look, it's 9:45. I really want everybody to know that past 9:30, I'm not really responsible for anything that I might say. I take no... there's a disclaimer. We should actually put a disclaimer on the Monday Night Draw. Anything that Meredith says after 9:30, she's not to be held responsible.
Well, I remember was it like 3 or 4 streams ago when you were talking about how Stan Lee wasn't really all that big a deal?
No, I said we were talking about Chadwick Boseman being a hero, and that I was just feeling like maybe just because you created a character. Characters. I can pull up my bad stuff. I already told you I'm not dying young. You're disproving my point.
I think Chadwick Boseman, was absolutely a hero. But, we're talking about Stan Lee still here, so,
No, it's Stan Lee.
You can have both and.
Yes, thank you, Lance. All right.
This is where I wish I had like 10 hours with this thing.
do. I feel like
You know what? I'm glad when I wish I had more time with it because I feel like it's working out okay. When it's really not, that's when around now it's 9:44. I'm thinking, oh please, someone come rescue me.
I cannot help you.
Falling apart.
I gotta finish. Okay, Greg L, $2 super chat. I gotta finish Brightburn after this. Have you seen it, Dave? Brightburn.
No, and I'm not even familiar with it. I don't know what it is.
Danielle Castelli is gonna save me. Says, I'll save you. Super chat, $4.99. I'll save you. I love how DC does adaptations that change the original story enough to make it like new. DC really gives the fans a lot.
They do, and they're great movies.
Daniel, you're the greatest. On my Christmas card list for sure. And Neil George wants to know if you use coasters or if there are rings all over the place that I have to clean up. Okay, first of all, the general rule is I don't clean the office. If I'm in here cleaning, it's desperate times calling for desperate measures. But also, I have this place is like practically bomb-proof because before we did Dave's office, I had lived with Dave for a while. So the tile on the floor, you really could drop an ink on it.
You can and have. I've totally done it.
And it comes right up. You can just get anything off this floor. This floor, if I wash it, looks as good as the day I laid it. We laid it 10, how long has it been since we did the basement? Your office, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, a while, maybe even 8.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And all the countertops are like granite. Again, not granite, like a quartz. They just clean right up. It's hard. And anything that like Dave actually works on is like the table where all his cups have accumulated. I think I got it like an office store. It's a little adjustable table for like $20. So slap coat of paint on that. Nobody worries about rings.
Yeah, I need to remember digital webbing.
Digital webbing?
Yeah, because people say, "Where do you go?" And I remember that was around ages ago, and I just hadn't seen it, and so it's still around, and it's still anyway. It just popped in my head again. I want to write that down because being able to say, "Hey, this is a good place to go if you're looking to get work," is good.
BW has a super chat for $5. Can you regale us with a story about you and Stanley?
Okay, well, the first time I met Stanley, I actually kind of cut a deal with Stanley's handler at the convention. I knew him and I drew a sketch for him. So this kind of thing should not happen. It's not fair to Stanley, but we totally did it. And so he was going up in an elevator, and so they stopped the elevator, and I got to take a couple of pictures with him, and I talked to him for a little bit, and the guy that arranged it said, this is David Finch, and he works for Marvel right now, and I mean, Stanley was so gracious. Like I'm sure, he was never the kind of he's not the kind of guy to say what's going on here. He was
totally with you when it happened.
Were you with it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so it was amazing. I couldn't believe it when it happened, and then I got to meet him a few times after that, and I don't, I wish I could say, we were friends and whatever. Like I didn't know him well enough to claim that, but he was always very, very nice to me. The last time I met him, actually, I did a panel with him it was a Stanley convention in LA. And this was 4 years ago, probably, something like that. Anyway, and yeah, he was incredible. We all talked. Mark Silvestri was there, a few other people. I think Gary Dugan was there.
Why is your pen not moving?
Sorry, yeah, right, yeah, it's moving. And Stanley was exactly the way he is, on the stage, really animated and just really friendly and hilarious. That's just how he always was. Every time I ever met him, he was just, that's who he was. He was very, very special. I mean, I think that comics, my opinion, really, I think they are what they are. And we all still love and follow comics because he created such incredible, memorable characters, but also he made them accessible to everyone just by being such a great promoter and ambassador.
Greg L says for $2. Marvel rules live action. The DC rules animated. And really, the live action is largely based on the comic book universe that Stan Lee.
Yeah, Marvel is definitely, they're
masterminded.
Hard to argue that they're not on top for live action right now, but I mean, those things change, and 10 years from now, you never know. And I mean, DC has phenomenal characters and, great concepts and great people working there. And I fully expect that, because, they've had some really good movies, certainly that I've really enjoyed. I loved Aquaman. Wonder Woman movie was great. Like, there have been some movies that I thought were really good. And, I think they'll put it together.
Daniel Dorset is in my corner. He says, I miss Saturday morning cartoons. I do too.
I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. I'm working with a small pen and I keep forgetting to do that. And then I watch it back and I can't really see what I'm drawing. Look at that. Zoomed in too much.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Sorry, yeah, I miss that.
Thundercats. She-Ra, He-Man.
Yeah.
There's another one.
And when it was coming on Saturday and you waited for it all week, there's something more special about it than when you can just watch it anytime. And
anybody ever watch the Barbapapas? Do you even know what that is?
I know.
I feel like that's like,
maybe it's Canadian.
I don't know.
What was the other show that you and
Clickety click, Barbatrick. And they could change, they're like big blobs, they could change their shape. Really? You don't remember?
No.
You never watched the Barbapapas?
Bear in mind, I wasn't allowed to watch TV when I was a kid, but you forget.
Great gal. $2 super chat. Brightburn's basically if Superman was an evil kid. Oh, you might like that show then, Dave.
Yeah.
And Rough Sketch Studios has a $10 super chat. Rough Sketch wants to know how was Ghost of Tsushima.
It was incredible. I loved it. I played it twice. And thank you for the super chat, by the way. I was playing it on hard, and I finally actually kind of moved on for a bit. I'm going to go back to it again, but I stopped because hard was not challenging for me. I say this like I'm bragging. The problem was that the duels were impossible for me. They're too hard. I could not beat them on hard. I could beat a few, and then I just hit a level. I just couldn't do it. It was too hard. And I hated having to lower the difficulty for the duels so much that I kind of, I just took a break. I'm going to try it again, and maybe I can get better at it. Or maybe I can get over the fact that I can't beat the duels, just lower the difficulty and bring it back up. It's like a pride thing, But yeah, there you go. Phenomenal game though. Incredibly immersive. And the only game I can think of in any kind of memory at all where you can't skip the cutscenes, which I hate in games. I hate it when they do that. But that game, I never minded.
Next super chat comes from Russ Hicks for $5. Russ says, Dave, I know how it feels to be mug shamed, though not publicly.
Yeah, see, it's the publicly. That's the part I'm like, wow, what's even happening here?
Then he still likes me because he says, Meredith, I'm enjoying Rose. Great book.
Traitor.
That's because I threw out my Saturday morning cartoons like Thundercats.
Yeah.
There's another one. Wasn't Voltron, like the old Voltron. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I watched that.
Where it was like the anime.
Yeah.
Voltron.
Yeah, I loved it. That was ahead of its time. My favorite was Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. And
Astro Boy?
No, Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. It was actually.
I saw that one.
You saw that one?
No, I never saw that one.
It was live action, and right before it was Ultraman.
Nope.
Oh man, I love that stuff.
You grew up watching American TV, though.
Yeah, and I also grew up. I wasn't allowed to watch TV, but as we got a little bit older, we got probably an hour or so before my mother would get home from work, and so yeah, we would just sit there and watch whatever they had on, and what they had on was Ultraman and Johnny Sacco and his giant robot.
I was probably watching Little House on the Prairie then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you know what? Even if you had the same TV, you wouldn't have been watching that.
Corey Adams has a $2 super chat. Corey says Brightburn, this is confirmation, is an evil Superman horror movie.
Oh, you know what? I remember seeing ads for it. Like,
now you're like, oh, now.
and I haven't seen it. So is it good? Or are they saying it's good?
They're saying good.
All right, I'm gonna watch
Watch it. I'm just scrolling to see if anybody knows Barbara Papa.
It's a bit of a job trying to get this whole like in the camera, but then if I'm not pulled in, it's also it just you lose the detail. I've really, you know what would be great, Meredith? And this is my invention. I'm going to copyright it. Take this camera and then have it shine just enough of a light that you can see what it's seeing.
Oh, yeah. Can you do that?
No. Oh. Well, I mean, come on. It'd be such a case-specific use. I don't think anybody would be doing that.
Oh, Daniel Dorset says, by the way, Dave, I just bought your figure pose pack number 1. I will practice it on my birthday tomorrow. Well, happy early birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, and thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I hope it's useful for you. And
happy birthday.
Yeah, and also I've got the free downloads just for inking or just reference or whatever that are up there now. So if you miss that, it's free.
Ross Klein, I used to watch back in the day. Was Daniel. All right. Allison McClone has a super chat for $1.99. She says, Saturday morning cartoons is a vibe for my project. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Good inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
You weren't the only one watching Robotech. Chris Reeder says, I remember watching Robotech every morning at 5:30 a.m. before the school bus.
Yep. Yeah, and I'd go to my next door neighbor's house, and they always had cookies and hot dogs, and you could watch whatever you wanted to watch on TV. It was like my oasis.
I remember going to friends' houses, and they had, like, chips and pop.
Yeah, I never had that either.
Chips and pop. Like, they just... And then go to the corner store.
How did we meet each other?
They lived in a corner store.
How did we meet each other where we have like the exact same...
We have very similar upbringing.
It's crazy. It's not like we compared stories and went, yeah, this is a fit.
That's because there's a God out there.
Yeah.
And he's like, David Meredith, yin and yang. With enough, see, there's enough overlap to form the circle perfectly. All right. Something I'm missing. We're talking about horror movies. Inhumanoids? Is that a horror movie? No.
Inhumanoids. There's Inhumans. That's Marvel's
James
Inhumans.
Gunn. Oh, James Gunn directed Brightburn. Must see.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if you know Meredith. He did Guardians of the Galaxy.
James Gunn. Oh yes. Isaac was talking about that. He's watching Baby Groot the other day. Baby Groot says he's so cute. Baby Groot. I mean, I feel like Baby Groot and Baby Yoda, Disney might have like a lock on the cute baby characters right now.
Well, they bought them all. They don't own one. They're coming for it.
But I mean, what does DC got? Baby Martian Manhunter? Baby Batman?
Yeah, they've got...
What baby character does DC have?
Oh, help me out here, guys. There's like the little magical Batman with a little squiggle on his chest. What's his name?
Oh, they do have that little guy, but that's not the same.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Danger Mouse. Artsy Design said, what about Danger Mouse?
See, there you go.
I don't think that's not from Batman, though.
No.
We're still talking TV. Batmite.
Batmite. Thank you. Batmite.
Batmite.
Even the name.
Nobody's selling Batmite in Walmart for,
Yeah, nobody was
pop.
selling Baby Yoda in Walmart for anything a year ago either, so just give it time. Batmite's coming.
What are you talking about? As soon as they had the
Yeah, you know what?
Baby Yoda was a thing before we even watched that show.
I know. Well, yeah, okay. You win.
Am I wrong?
No, but what's going to happen is Bat might be on something. People will love it. He's going to be huge. I keep hitting this thing.
Baby Etrigan?
Baby Etrigan? Is that real?
I don't think so. Now we're just making babies. Baby Teen Titans?
Oh, you know what? There is. You totally forgot. Teen Titans Go. There you go.
They're not really.
Oh, no. Close enough.
Fine. Give you the win. Do you need the win today?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, after my coffee mug incident.
I'll give you the win, honey.
All right.
Also because I won yesterday. In the game of life. Just in the game of David Meredith. Battle.
Now we're going to have to relitigate this whole fight.
I don't have to relitigate the fight.
It's going to get ugly again.
It's not going to get ugly because I won.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
DC can use the WB cartoons like Tiny Toons, Elf, and the Muppet Babies. I'm telling you right now, nobody like Elf.
But you know what, Baby Yoda, you would have said, "Come on."
My mother had an Elf doll. You know she did.
Yeah, everybody did. Everybody had an Elf doll.
Another Elf doll.
Everybody had an Elf doll, and everybody had Michael Jackson Thriller jacket. My mother sewed me one.
Andrew had one too.
Yep, my mother made me one.
She had the glove.
So did I.
Corey Adams says, for $2, says cheapo movie equals direct-to-video proper term.
Direct-to-video what return?
A cheapo movie?
Yeah.
Is the same as saying direct-to-video.
Oh.
That's what and so I shouldn't say cheapo movie.
You should say direct-to-video. Yeah,
I mean, say direct-to-video because they mean the same thing.
And they're great movies. Like, I'm a huge fan.
They're not well written.
But yeah, cheapo. I mean, come on.
They're not really. I said that. Did I say cheap?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry. Again, it's past 9:30. Now it's past 10 o'clock. So you know.
Well, we're wrapping up,
Sleep
right?
drunk Meredith comes out.
I'll tell you what's going to end up happening with this. I wanted to shoot.
Oh, and Greg L says the JLU had a baby Etrigan.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah. Baby, I want a baby Etrigan doll. I want baby Etrigan.
Oh man, I took too much time today. There were a few things that I really wanted to do with this. I was going to do some splatter on it, but I had to finish the. What's that?
You might have to do that after the fact.
I'm not doing it after the fact. What I'll end up doing. You know what? Here's what I'll do. Oh, I'm trying to think. How can I make this work? Because I know I can't say, "Hey, let's do this till 11."
No, we can't say, "Hey, let's do this till 11."
I'm thinking maybe I could like finish next week, but then next thing you know, I'm starting one and finish. You know, I'll have to do it off.
Now,
oh, you know what I'll do?
I did suggest next week Dave could do. This is how I do a sketch cover. But he thought that was not good. Good night, SCS Powerlifting. Have a good night.
Oh yeah, good night. Yeah. Thank you for coming again. You know, actually, I was talking to Eric. He said he's a huge fan of Shazam. And
next week we're going to do Miles.
Yeah, Miles Morales. See, you want to say Mark Morales now, too.
It's not, you're not wrong. Every time I hear it, I'm like, Mark Morales. No, it's not Mark.
But, you know, in my defense.
I do love Mark.
Yeah, and I've known him for 27 years.
Mark probably has fans. He's got kids now. His kids are probably fans of Miles Morales.
Yep. Well, in all fairness, he's definitely not the only person with the last name Morales.
Do you need to zoom out?
Do I?
I don't know. Do you?
I will in a minute. Thank you, though, for reminding me. Cause,
it wasn't me. It was Henry Jeremic.
Oh, okay.
He said, please zoom out.
Okay, here we go, Henry. We're zooming out. To finish up, we'll bring this to a close.
Oh, here you go. El Padrino says, record the rest on video and upload it to your YouTube.
Yes, actually, and thank you, El
Padrino.
Yes, thank you. Excuse me, I'm going to do that.
So
I'll have it up
end
this
the
week.
stream. You can finish it.
Yeah, I'll finish. I'll just keep recording. And,
there we go. And then some boy apparently, the stream Hellboy.
Yeah, oh, you know what? I said I was going to do that. And here I am thinking, oh, gee, I don't know what to draw. And I need to write these down.
I'll put it on the whiteboard.
Actually, that would be really good.
That's upstairs.
Yeah.
And by whiteboard, I mean the white piece of paper that I wrote on
on the fridge.
I taped to the fridge.
Yeah.
And then Jasper Plan 9 says, please do horror movie monsters to prep for Halloween.
Oh, what a great idea.
You could do a zombie. Nobody does zombies like you.
That would be a lot of fun. Okay. I wish we had a way of doing polls. There is a way, right?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me how to do a poll.
You know what? You can do a poll using that Thing Monkey thing that you were working on.
Thing Monkey?
Survey Monkey or whatever.
Oh. Yeah, but then I would need an email list, wouldn't I?
I don't know. Don't you have one on your Gumroad? You have one on your Discord?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. I'm going to do a poll on my Discord, which apologies to everyone on my Discord that does not even cross my mind that I could just do that. Okay, I'm going to do a poll, and we will figure out what I'll draw for Halloween, which is coming right up. So, well, ish.
I vote zombie.
Okay.
So let's narrow down the choices now. Zombie.
Yeah.
Vampire.
Freddy Krueger. Jason Voorhees. You don't even...
Anthony Gee says, oh, I would like to see you draw Jason Voorhees.
See?
Dracula says Nielsen Navarrete.
Yeah. Am I pulled out? Yeah.
Batman That Laughs. Vampirella. Swamp Thing. Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Oh, see? I would love... I don't know if that's really right for Halloween, because it's not really Halloween associated, but Eddie for Iron Maiden is basically all I drew in high school. So, you know...
Henry Jeremic says, Dave, it's rare that you actually draw what you plan to draw the next week. You're supposed to review the stream for suggestions to add in the hat. You're funny.
I know, yeah.
You do a poll through YouTube too.
Can I?
Oh, yeah. One Mighty Artist says I could do a poll using my community tab.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. I could do a poll on Facebook.
I've never tried the community tab.
Killer Clown, we've already done. BW, he's already done Killer Clown. There's a whole YouTube video on it.
Actually, that is true, yeah.
Can't do another Killer Clown.
It's just ahead. By the way, it was demonetized. I think because it's called Killer Clown, and maybe YouTube thought that was, you know, problematic.
You changed the name though.
I did, but then you have to actually contest it. I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna like waste somebody's time and, you know, whatever for...
Somebody said Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, there you go. That would be a great idea.
Leatherface X2.
Oh, Leather.
The Bride of Frankenstein. Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. Blade. Oh, Art 9 says no zombies. Done 2 covers for The Walking Dead. Nobody wants to see zombies. Wow. No zombies then.
Okay, there you go. No zombies.
47 ERA says, Dave, I got a question.
Okay.
Why do you always hide the feet using rocks?
Because it's easier to draw that way, and I'm cheating.
Nosferatu. He lives in our house. He's not drawing Everett. Also, AKA Nosferatu. Although not anymore. Not now the school has started. Pinhead. Pumpkinhead is a great idea. A couple people say Pumpkinhead's a good idea.
Yeah. So far, it seems like that's the one that's gotten the, you know, broader support.
Rattlehead, Joker, Xenomorph, The Thing, Mortal Kombat character.
I can't draw a Xenomorph because I've already done a cover with that.
Zippy the Pinhead. Is that actually a character? Zippy the Pinhead?
Yeah, it's from, oh, shoot. It's from a really, really old movie. Oh, somebody in the chat's going to remember the name. But, you know, it is a real person with, like, a real, you know, condition. And I think that's probably outside of what I would want to do.
The most unique channel name, Meredith Scene, says, let's see him paint. He always said it would be scary for us to see him try and paint.
No, it wouldn't be scary for you to see me. It'd be scary for me to do. I'm not even drawing feet here. Now you want me to paint. You know what? I need to do it. I will. At some point I'll do it.
That could be Christmas.
Actually, I think it'd be a really great way to, because, you know, I don't want to just do the same thing every time. And I'm a little reluctant, like somebody mentioned, you know, backgrounds. I'm a little reluctant to go and just do something like that. But yeah, I'll paint. We'll see how it goes.
So I have to read 2 nice comments.
Okay.
Alessandro Crapple says, thanks, Meredith and Dave. I love the stream. You guys are my company as I'm drawing along with you guys. That's very nice.
Yes, thank you.
Julio Torres says, you're such an inspiration. My daughter is 9 and has autism. She's so obsessed with your artwork. So I let her stay up on Mondays for your live art streams. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank you very much.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Thank you to you and your daughter.
Daniel Castelli has a super chat for $1.99. Daniel says, I always draw people with their hands in their pockets.
See, there you go. I'm not alone.
And One Mighty R says, Hellraiser. Chucky. Headless Horseman with no horse. Actually, how about the Headless Horseman with just the horse? Says Meredith. All right. What are we at? Looking at here.
We're looking at about 5 minutes for me to wrap it up, 10 minutes for me to wrap it up and not suck. Think you last 10 minutes?
It's
Now,
10 after 10.
I know. Come on, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
7 oh, you already said 10. Yeah, and then I'll still do like some extra effects in the background because I want to make it a little more complete, and there really is only so much I can do in 2 hours. I guess more like almost 2.5, admittedly, but I'll do a time lapse for this one. I haven't actually done a time lapse for a couple weeks. I've been so busy.
Oh, OMG, she's screaming because you acknowledged us. Her name's Allie. Please just say her name once. Hey, Allie.
Hi,
Thanks
Allie.
for watching the stream.
Thank you, Allie. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying up. It's a late night.
I missed a super chat for Greg. What super chat did I miss? Oh, Greg L, $2 says, I hope we soon get DC static. Static. Do you know who static is?
Yes, and I could actually really see that happening, you know? I mean, I think that they're trying to go for more of a younger kind of an audience, and he's a great character for that. I think they should push him more, and I think he'd be great for a movie, you know? So yeah. It's been so successful with Marvel going for that, doing like a younger kind of tone stuff. So
Static is awesome, says One Mighty R. Is it true? Drew Mayer J says, is it true next Monday Meredith will teach us realistic portraits with watercolor?
all true. I'd love to see that.
Oh my gosh. So funny.
One of these days you are going to have to do a draw along with me.
Yeah, I'll happily do that.
That'll be fun.
That can be our Christmas present. Oh, and Patches is making her appearance. Come on, Patch. Just for Leggy. Yes, hello. See, Patches is down here saying, it's bedtime.
See, as it is, these rocks that I'm drawing right now, I had this, because I've got a statue that Marvel did of a cover that I did of Magik years ago, and I did like the swirly pattern all through the rocks. There's just not time to do that. I couldn't do it. I was actually even thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to do that right now. I don't know what I was thinking. There are things that just do take up too much time. Like rocks like this, and you wonder, you know, why am I always drawing characters on rocks? Well, I can draw them fast. That's the truth. I would love to draw, you know. Oh, that's another tutorial that actually, well, I don't know what format. Now, forget it. Talking to myself.
Just keep talking. Yeah. I'm just hanging with the cat. She's like, it's time for bed.
You guys are checking out?
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
I do fall asleep on the couch every night.
Yeah. Long before now,
Long
normally.
before now.
Yeah, usually around...
I tried so hard last night, too. To stay awake, I could not do it.
Yeah, usually you're...
10, I think it was like 8:30 last night.
8:30, 9 o'clock is actually, I'd say, most usual for you. Yeah. Which is early.
Hey, Dave. Gustav Tavares says, please do a tutorial on rocks and other environmental stuff. Did you do...
What I did, and I do need to that was, this is, I really need to write the stuff down because that was another tutorial I was really planning on doing. And I think actually I said in a live stream a couple weeks ago, oh, I'm going to do that next. Is I did rocks like on a wall, so all flat, but not something like this. Not like broader, more organic shapes, which it really is a different thing.
Zoom out so they can see more of the picture.
I am zoomed out.
That's as far out as you can.
Here's what I can do. This is the only option that I've got in terms of zooming out, and that's just raising the camera.
Yeah.
So there you go. Actually, I should do that more. The problem is that...
Can't you put the picture underneath the camera? It's on a stand.
No, I can't because I have to move it around when I'm drawing. If it's under the camera, I won't be able to... This is why at some point, I know I'm kidding about like an overhead rig, but it would be good. I shake this camera, but mostly it's just really in the way. Between the microphone and the camera...
You sound like a princess. Seriously. All right. Fortunately, we have a super chat here from Ariel Colin for $20.
Well, thank you very much.
So much, Ariel. And Ariel says, "Hi, let's see some painting in the near future."
Oof.
So gauntlet down.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe that could be like a November.
Well, we are more than halfway to 60.
We are more than halfway to 60?
Yep.
Oh yeah, look at you, got 55,000 subs.
So, maybe when we hit
60?
Yeah, it'll take me a few more weeks to get there, I think. So, sure. If I have to paint, though, it has to be something that I'm less likely to screw up. So I'm going to do Batman. And the reason I say Batman is he's mostly black and white. So, totally eliminates a few major variables that I don't want to blow. And I think you know what I'm going to end up doing, Meredith? I'm going to end up spending like just a little bit of time trying to practice to see if I can remember how to do it.
You're not allowed to paint until you check every item off on your whiteboard upstairs.
That's so not happening.
Why not?
No, what I mean is I'll just not get a chance to paint then. Because that whiteboard is going to last. No, I'll get it done. I don't mean I'm not going to do it.
Update the whiteboard. I'll start a new whiteboard.
Okay.
So once that current whiteboard is empty.
Ah, there you go. All right.
Then you can paint.
There you go.
Oh, I've seen a couple of questions about ZHC. What do you like ZHC?
Yeah, I think he's great. He's a very nice guy.
Oh, Greg L says maybe you could do a tutorial for inking textures and backgrounds. That's a super chat question. For $2. Great super chat.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I have not done any inking tutorials at all yet.
You haven't?
No. Everything's been pencil. I haven't done anything on inks.
Yeah, do it totally.
So, and I'm sitting here inking every time. But yeah, this is where, you know what? I'll have to think about that.
There's Khaled Ahmed knew about you from ZHC videos, and Khaled is on the stream tonight.
Oh well, great. Thank you, Khaled. Thank you for coming by.
And I hope we said your name right.
Yes, well, hopefully, and apologies if we didn't, but yeah, thank you. That's great to hear, and thank you to ZHC for the mention.
Kenny Day. Okay, so there was somebody suggested rocks and stuff. What about volumetric smoke? We do that too. Says Kenneth Day. Quick tutorial about volumetric smoke.
These are really good. You know what? I should just do that this week instead of. Because it'd be so easy compared to doing like a roadmap. That way, it's going to be a bit of a challenging video. I'll just do it. And I will tell you guys right now, I never know what video is. Like I can't read mine, so I put out a video that I think is really good, and it might not do as well, or. I'm maybe a little shaky on it. It does great. Or, sometimes
really overthink it, to be
fair. I overthink it. I overthink everything. It's my nature. So yeah, then I'm thinking, oh, you know, like I think a roadmap kind of a video, like a real plan, is a really useful thing, because it is a question I get a lot, and I think, you know, it's something you can have a lot of doubt about, and just, you know, a good, you know, a good way forward, I think is really useful. And then I think, oh, but what if it's not? Nobody, you know, yeah, I overthink this stuff, guys.
We have another super chat from Comic Pop for $5. Comic Pop says, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Comic Pop says, thank you for spending your personal time to provide such great insight into your process and the art form.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Comic Pop. And it is a pleasure. You enjoy it, right, Meredith? Having a good time? Just say yes.
It's our time to spend together.
It really is. I mean, it's not our only time, but you know, actually,
it's hanging.
Yeah.
We don't get to do lunch anymore, so
we need to get back to that at some point.
Yeah, you have a different lunch buddy now.
Oh, one time a week.
But you don't have more than one time a week to go for lunch.
I know.
So.
Well, dinner, whatever.
Someday.
Don't sing.
That was just a singing of the word someday with no musical connotation or
okay
likeness to any other song out there.
All right, Meredith, it is 10:21, and as much as I would like to do a little bit more with this picture, I had
once I start singing,
I had some more plans for it.
It's all done now.
And I'm going to get there, but for me to do it properly, it's actually going to take just a little bit of time to. Let me move my camera. See my messy. Look, this is what I put this big piece of paper on my desk, so you can't see. Check this out, Meredith. You can see it at the top there. That's what my desk actually looks like, with paint and like ink splatter and everything all over it.
That's why we don't worry about rings.
Yeah, I have used this desk since before I got into comics. I got this desk in 1992, and I have definitely used it well. All right. Oh, I need to sign it.
You do.
Off the page. Off the... All right. Done. That's it for now.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Yes, thank you very much for coming, spending a couple hours with us, and, you know, watching me draw Magik, which was an absolute blast. Maybe not your favorite costume, I guess, Meredith, but I think it came out, actually, I have to say, I am happy with this one. I think it turned out all right.
Yeah, I mean, I like the traditional Magik. I'm not gonna lie.
I know,
but this actually looks really good.
And doing more penciling, I think, helped. I like being able to just go in with ink and just slap everything together and no penciling at all, but I definitely find for anything that Batman, you can do it, because I can just shadow everywhere. I can shadow out his whole face. If, you know, the mouth is all off, well, it's just gone. Whereas this kind of a face, I can't do that with, and I really wanted this one to work tonight. So yeah, I'm actually, you know, somebody's going to point out where it's really bad, and then I'm going to be ashamed. But right now, I'm really happy with it. So again,
don't make him ashamed.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching, and if you enjoy the video, you know, please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And we will see you guys, excuse me, next Monday, 8 o'clock, same time, and I'll have a video out on...
Not this week.
Yes, this week.
This week you're only going to do...
On Wednesday, I will have a video out.
No, you only do like a speed up thingy.
We'll say this quietly so she doesn't hear. I'll have a video out on Wednesday.
You'll never get through that honey-do list.
I know. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you again.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
And again, I need the figure. All right.
Finch block.